Hello, everyone. We're here again. It's Wednesday, and it's 4th of March, I think, today. And it says
Bloody hell.
episode 97. Episode 97. So, I'm just going to say, as usual, um, what have you been watching, and have you had anything come? Anything, just talk about. Right. Thank you, anyhow.
Yeah, sorry, I had to turn the volume down on
Yeah.
something, so I thought it was off. So what have I watched? Is that what you asked me?
Yeah, usual. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been back at work. So yeah, it's been a bit. Anybody that's watched my blog knows that I had a bit of a tremendous week off, but I was so glad that I got some stuff out. I said the only sad news is that I managed to get an extra one out, which is one of my favorite films, The Apartment, and it's the lowest watched one of the lot.
Oh.
But
Oh.
I never know why these things are. Maybe it's because it's a black and white film and nobody really wants to talk about those sort of films and all of that sort of stuff. But um, one of those things. But I'm very happy that no emojis are all appearing on the screen and all of that sort of stuff. But we want to go back to what I watched. I'll just quickly show what turned up today. And I've seen it recently, so but I'll turn my thing off. There we go. Look, there we go. And the steel book of the new Running Man has turned up, the
All right.
Glenn Powell version,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm in agreement with Cy on it, really, which is the end is a bit poor. But up until that point, I thought it was pretty close to the book because I have read the book now, which is just a short story, really, by Stephen King under a pseudonym. And it really is written back in the day where it would probably work, which is how do you hide yourself for a long period of time while you're on the run, which is I think has been turned into a reality show as well. By the way, I think there's a lot of these celebrities that have had to, they're in twos and they have to try and get to a certain point on the map in England or something and not be found by the chasers. So it's a similar sort of thing. But it was entertaining until the end, and the end did ruin it a bit for me. But I still count it as a not too. It was an entertaining film when you consider all the films that came out last year, but it's nowhere near as good as things like Weapons and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Those were the top films of last year. So there's that. Sunday, I had a ball, right? I was really tired and I thought, you know what? After I've got my mum to bed, I'm just going to sit down and veg out in front of the TV. And on BBC 2 or 4, Misery was on. I haven't seen Misery in ages. I love the film Misery.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
It is.
I went to bed happy. I thought, I'll go to bed now happy. I'll just turn the telly on to get me to sleep. And the Talking Movies channel was on from the night before, and The Black Hole was on. Oh, bloody hell. Another film I like to watch. Oh, The Black Hole's on. Now, obviously, I've seen it just recently. I'd love a 4K of that film, by the way. But it's got so many nice things in it because it's got a John Barry score, and it's got a pretty good cast in it. The voice of Robin McDowell is in it. Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I like him from the Planet of the Apes films and Columbo and all the stuff that he's been in. He's even in the Martian Chronicles as a monk.
Yeah.
I forgot to say he was in Buck Rogers, and he was in just about everything from our childhood. What a sad day that was when he died. So that was good. I'm trying to think what else I watched. I did watch on Disney Plus a 4-part cartoon called Marvel Zombies.
All right, yeah.
Which is based on the comic and written by the guy that wrote The Walking Dead, which turned into the TV show that we've all known for years.
Yeah.
And that wasn't too bad. They were half-hour episodes, and it was 4 episodes. So it was a very, oh my God, I can breeze through this. So I did.
Yeah.
Watch that. I know there was more films than that I watched, but I keep forgetting what the names of them are because they're on things like Talking Pictures. But The Apartment is probably the high point of what I watched. You know, that or Misery, one of the two. And I do have a film digitally to watch, which you've seen. So that sounds very interesting to me, probably because it's sort of like very correct at the moment, you know, in regards to buzzwords that are going around at the moment. I'll let you finish off that statement because you know exactly what the word is that I'm looking at. And just before I came on, my friend Denny put in my Discord channel that he went to the website called Network.
Oh, yeah.
And and it's got the Network logo up and it says website under construction. Now, is that an indication that Network is coming back?
Jim Jam just put a comment in straight away.
Oh, so I just let you know that Denny's just put that up in my Discord. So that could be some good news. Could be some good news.
That'll be excellent, yeah.
Now, the only downside that I've got with that is when they went bust, and they have to pay back their suppliers and all of that sort of stuff, did all of their stock go with it? Because if it did, they'd have to pick and choose what they're going to re-solicit in regards to getting their stock out there again. So stuff that I'd really like Crown Court, say, probably isn't stuff that they've got in stock anymore, and it's probably therefore wouldn't get re.
You don't think they'd ever re-release?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You'd have to have a pretty sizable bank account to get the whole catalog out in certain numbers to actually get out. So they probably have to pick and choose. And I should think they might choose. They might have been watching, and they might do things like Children of the Stone and stuff like that, which have been out of print for a very long time, because a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, I'd love that, but it's out of print." You know what I mean? And I should think they'd be concentrating on probably getting things like a Blu-ray release out of Sapphire and Steel or something. You know what I mean? You know, where they were working on those projects, but then they went bust, and they could probably therefore continue that. So I should think that would make more sense than going to their back catalogue and going, right, especially with that gold label bringing out some of their back catalogue, because you know, all they can do with that company is cease and assist with saying that you can bring that out now, because now that they're back, they'd probably say we want our license back so that we can bring it out under our own label. So they'll probably do a cease of the ability for them to be able to write any more copies of that out. And I should think that they would bypass those ones as reburning of those discs, because they probably sold it onto them, to be quite honest, their stock. You see what I mean? Because it was a new company, wasn't it? And they, so you know, there's all of that. But that's all I've got to say, really. I think I did that pretty quick, other than to say thank you, everyone, again, for all the support. You know, everything that's going on in my life is listed in my blog, and of course, my mum has got a degenerative disease, and you know that you support me very well, Ian, and you allow me to go off and get my mum to bed and all of that sort of stuff. And I know that that's it's not very good for your channel to see a blank screen.
It's okay.
By the way, you could fill the screen with your ugly mug.
Yeah,
right. If you just look down the bottom.
I don't want to shock people too much.
You could hit the button. You could hit the button and say, "Oh, I'm not Delboy off," so that people can just see me if you want. But I appreciate that you keep my little window.
Yeah, open. I prefer it that, because it's like saying it's just better than seeing my mug like it is.
Yeah. So I've got about 5 or 10 minutes to listen to Tony York's corner. So let's listen.
Well, I'll start off.
I'm just saying, I'm looking forward to Tony York's corner.
Oh, well, you've got to every week. It's brilliant. In all Tony York, I'll tell you what I'll do. I mentioned the digital download of Mercy which I watched.
Oh, it's
This
called
digital
Mercy.
download.
It's called Mercy, right?
Yeah. It's I'm trying. Well, it's hard to say how I feel about this film. I think it's a one-time watch.
Yeah.
I think it is, definitely. My immediate reaction was, at least it's a step up from War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that
right. It
might
was
give
that
you an
bad.
indication.
It was that bad, was it? Right.
Well, that gives you the style. I think I'm talking about the style. That's why I said the setup, because it's another. It seems to be the thing where they're sat. The story is told through various screens. She's on. Sorry, this bloke is on trial, and this judge has got 90 minutes.
Yeah, now I just bear with me a minute. I haven't got to see this film yet. But is that Chris Pratt who's on trial?
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
No, Chris Pratt is in this film, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the big name in the film, I think.
That's right. And they're given 90 minutes, so you think, oh yeah, that fits in with film and what have you. And they have to prove themselves that they're innocent, on this trial. And it starts off, dramatic fashion, because it's something that if they get considered that they're guilty, then that's it. It's like they're gone. They get rid of them, execute them, if you want to put it in those terms. So it works on that sort of formula, and it is a step up in that sense. But it is all looking at the evidence is presented. Oh, can I look at such and such a camera which showed this happening? Oh, let's just go back to the cam of this police officer, and it goes like that, which is fine. But I don't know. I don't. These kind of films, I don't really connect with that much. Really, it's a one-time watch.
The big buzzword, wasn't it? In this film was that the judge is AI.
Yeah, it's
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it's
which I think is it's Chris Pratt, and the fact that AI is mentioned is probably the only selling point that I could actually see.
I think that's it. But I do say it is a step up from War of the Worlds, but that's not saying much, is it? Because that was so bad. But
I looked at it. I looked at it because it was a court thing.
Yes, yeah, no, I understand that, but you'd almost wish it was old-fashioned. I kind of in a way that it would have been more interesting, old-fashioned way of doing it.
So you'd rather see an hour-and-a-half version of Crown Court then?
Yeah, I would. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, some of the best films have been court dramas.
That works for A Few Good Men, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a courtroom drama, isn't it?
Yeah. But I can understand people might like it more as well, because I suppose it's using the technology and it's a way of doing it. But it's I nearly said it, but I say I prefer a proper film.
Yeah,
but it's all right. So that's the sort of digital download I looked at, and then I'll just go into my. This is not a Tony York. This is my own.
Not Tony York corner. Bloody hell! What?
It's not a Tony York.
Are you running out or what?
I just fancied suddenly. I saw somebody.
Whatever you do, don't tell him that you're running out. He'll send a bloody big box to you, right? With another about 600 bloody stuff that's going to go to landfill.
There's absolute loads to get through with Tony's.
If you were to put all of his discs on your back wall, there'd be such a glare we wouldn't be able to see you. I mean,
you should see over there. There's an absolute stack.
Have you got it listed as Tony York corner? Because that's what
there is. I suppose there is really. It's an absolute stack. There is some of mine intermingled in there, but most of them are from Tony.
Yeah, I think there is.
So this is a film that I saw somebody on YouTube saying, "Oh, this film, this is great. It's a modern remake of a film." They didn't know that the this original existed, I don't think. And here it is. It's Brighton Rock, of course, 1948. Right. This is brilliant. I love this. Of course, it's got, as you can guess, it's got him in old Richard Attenborough. I mean, it's
Do you know, it's such a long
1948.
time since I've seen that film. Such a long
This is the
time.
one to watch. I know there has been a remake of it, and the remake wasn't bad, but this is the one. And it's so it's based on a Graham Greene novel, and he wrote the screenplay as well. Did Graham Greene, which is pretty good. It's one of the Bolting brothers directed it. There was two Bolting. Sometimes they directed together, and sometimes they directed on their own. And this is John Bolton. And the film that he directed that I really love is he directed I'm All Right, Jack, in 59, which I absolutely love. I'm All Right, Jack. It's what again is important is it was filmed on location in Brighton, which for the time is great. Seeing Brighton and a post-war Brighton in 1948, fantastic, absolutely wonderful. But Richard Attenborough, he plays Pinky. That's what he's known as, and he's part of this. He's a psycho. He's an absolute psycho, and his performance is fantastic. You can see why he came to attention playing this. He's part of a gang, and also the leader of that gang, who can't really control him, is William Hartnell, who plays Dallow.
Yeah, William Hartnell's in it. Yeah,
William Hartnell, and he's the gang leader, but he can't control him. Another thing interesting is that the female in this who plays Rose, she was in Scrooge, the 1951 version.
Yeah.
And also she was in Dracula, 1958, the Hammer film, the first Dracula Hammer film.
I just remembered one film that I watched. I watched Lust for the Vampire.
Oh, wow, that's a good one. Well, they're all good. Absolutely all brilliant.
Oh, and the other bad film was Caligula. I watched that.
Do you know, I've never seen that. I know it is bad.
You haven't missing much.
Yeah.
Other than the cast, which was
I know it's notorious because it turned into a porn film, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
And it turned into a very, very expensive physical release last year, if I remember right. It came with a Playboy magazine or something, I think, or something in the box. I thought, flipping out, you are going one beyond the norm with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry,
this is highly recommended. I absolutely loved it. It just captures that era, and Richard Attenborough proves what a talent he was even then, a brilliant talent. And then the next one is a film that I really should upgrade. I should upgrade this one, Lawrence of Arabia. I saw.
You know what? Now you're coming out with one that you know how much I love that film.
I saw this years ago, and I haven't seen it since.
And wow!
I realized, I thought, crikey, I've not seen Lawrence of Arabia for maybe 20 years. Maybe longer. So I thought, well, why not get this? And immediately I thought, when I watched it, I thought, God, I bet this looks absolutely brilliant in 4K, Blu-ray 4K. I bet it is superb. It's like made for cinema. It's almost
that is a fantastic 4K pressing.
It's just made for cinema, this film. It just, everything about it. And of course, David Lean was such a great director. Yeah. I mean, the films that he did and the thing is, he goes back right to 40s. Some of the films, like Brief Encounter, is considered a really important British film, and that's a love story one. But Great Expectations, I love that one. That's James Mason in Great Expectations, 1946, Oliver Twist one. But the other one that I think he's famous for is obviously The Bridge Over the River Kwai. That is such a great war film. Alec Guinness is absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, Dr. Zhivago, which I must get on my list to watch. I haven't seen that again for years.
Well, both Muckman and I turned around and said, "Why isn't there a 4K of that?" There is not a 4K of Dr. Zhivago.
Well, that is surprising.
There's a couple of things that stick out for me with Lawrence of Arabia. The first time that I saw it, the first one was the introduction, right, which starts off with this sort of like menacing music. It's like the orchestra is sort of like powering up, right, and then suddenly it goes into this jaunty sort of like tune, right, like a military sort of jaunty tune. And then suddenly you see him riding along the road. Now, I won't ruin it for anybody, right?
You see his death at the beginning.
Yeah, well, I wasn't. See, you've just ruined it. I wasn't going to ruin it for anybody, right? There you are. I just go bloody.
Carry on. Right? You're being poetic. Right? Yeah.
Right. And then the next thing was when he was in the desert. It was his blue eyes that really came out to me. And my God, the thing is in such high color, contrast color with the sand dunes and everything. That Peter O'Toole's eyes, they're blue. It's like cobalt blue. Yeah. And they stick out because his skin was so tanned, from the sun and everything. And then, of course, later on, I found out, and I fell in love with Maurice Jarre for a start, who did a lot of David Lean's film music, and found out later on that Jean-Michel Jarre is his son. So Maurice Jarre is Jean-Michel Jarre's dad.
Yeah. And of course,
I've loved Jean-Michel Jarre for years because of synthesizers, and I'm going, wow, what a talented family.
Yeah, exactly. But
then, of course, as soon as I saw the film, I wanted to know everything about Lawrence, right? And the other thing is that I wanted to know everything about the making of that film. And then I found out that Steven Spielberg snuck into a cinema one day and he just fell in love with it and wanted to do films from the moment he saw that film.
It's the documentary. There's two. Spielberg is interviewed in here and he talks all about his love for this film.
It is one of those I can wholeheartedly say with no reservation is a film that at least you must watch once. Yeah. But when you do watch it once, I'm pretty sure you're going to go away and go, wow, I want that film in my collection.
Yeah. I thought I've got to upgrade this at some time. I've got to get the upgrade because it's so... I'll tell you as well.
You know what? I'm tempted now to send you one of my 4Ks because I've got that film on Steelbook 4 times.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
Because it is one of my. It's not. I mean, I'm not over the top in regards to like Star Trek: The Motion Picture,
but one that you.
It's a little bit like The Thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, how many times am I going to buy The Thing or Escape from New York? Or you know what I mean? It's like, they're films that I've gone, oh yeah, I'm buying it again.
You've got to have that one, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I honestly think that this is Peter O'Toole's best performance. He's never going to top this, I don't think.
He did some good films afterwards. Don't get me wrong.
Some good films. But this is so, I mean, it's just, he's so good in it. I can't, he puts across that he doesn't quite fit in. He's very much somebody who's his own man. He doesn't like their rules, does he?
It's a passionate project of his, I think.
Yeah.
He was passionate for him.
And I love that it shines through. The cast is great, though. I mean, all around him. So
Omar Sharif was in it.
Yeah. Even
Alec Guinness is in it, isn't he? Alec Guinness is in it.
Yeah. Jack Hawkins, who pops up in all these British films at that time.
If I remember rightly, though, I'm not sure. I don't think it was a troubled production for Peter O'Toole, but I think drink got to him afterwards, didn't it?
Yes, there was a mention of that about the drink business. He did manage to get through it, I think, but the director he was very aware of it and made sure that they got the stuff done in the morning. Get it all done in the morning, the best scenes, because he reckoned. They went for dinner. This is what he talks about on this. If they went for dinner, he'd be drunk if he came back. on set.
It mirrors Richard Harris and
Yes, yeah,
Richard Burton
exactly.
and
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of things, and
yeah,
it's just I mean, I don't know if it was a men's club or something, but a lot of these great actors that I can't believe how much drink was part and
yeah,
parcel of their lives for so much.
yeah, yeah,
I always used to think, is it because they're bored on set and the only thing they can do is just go to the bar and have a drink or something? But no, it's not about that.
yeah,
It's their personal lives,
yeah,
and I suppose there's an awful lot of going to ceremonies and
yeah. I don't
being
know
in your
about
own
his.
promotion and
I
all that
must
sort
admit,
of thing.
I don't know about his relationships. If he had relationship
Yeah.
problems, marriages, and they
I
often
know
like.
he went on stage shortly afterwards, and his stage production was fantastic, but it was slated.
Yeah,
And he carried on doing that play for months and months and months because he truly believed it was a good thing, but the critics just killed it.
yeah,
And that must be pretty hard for someone to
yes,
do, that somebody would come along and slate something so
yeah,
badly. And apparently a lot of his people that knew Peter O'Toole quite well said that he was in depression
yeah,
because of that, and they said it was his best performance on stage. The amount of effort, I think it was Hamlet, something like that,
yeah,
he was doing.
yeah,
And he did a weird performance of Hamlet which was
yeah,
modernized, I think it was, and didn't do particularly well. But there's people like that, like Michael Caine came out and said it was
yeah,
a fantastic production. I don't know what they just wanted to slate something, and then
yeah,
he followed, and like a trooper, he continued it until the end of the run. He didn't leave early. He didn't turn around and say,
yeah,
I'm pulling out of this. It's a load of crap. He carried on to the bitter end. And now I think that just shows character. That's the sort of thing that I want to hear, is that there's a person that I really love in a film and his
mm,
character is so strong that he'll go through the bad as well as the good. And I think that's
yeah,
all I'll say on
yeah,
it. I will have to go now, but
yeah,
I could talk about that for ages, you bastard. Now
yeah.
I've got to go. I'll see you all in a bit.
Anyhow, that is it is a really good film. This it's almost like an event, really, watching this film. I can see why it's considered one of the all-time greats, and even the music. I know I didn't go on about the music. The music is good. I have to concede, it is good. I don't normally talk about soundtracks, as you know, but yeah, I thought it was really good. Then the next one is I've watched this a few times, but I just fancied watching it again. It's a film that I don't know. There's something about this film. I absolutely love it. It's The Last Valley. This is from 1971. It's written and directed by James Clavell, who does a great job. Absolutely brilliant. The story is fantastic, and what is outstanding for me is, of course, the history. It has to be. I mean, how many films do you get on the 30 Years' War? I'm sure there isn't a lot, but I've not seen many. The 30 Years' War was between 1618 and 1648. 17th century, I'm on board. You know me, 17th century. I love the 17th century. I'm all about the 17th century. This is going on in Europe, and this is it's I use the term epic, but they managed to recreate that in this film. I think the locations, the brilliant locations on this really, enhance the film. It does. It just looks absolutely fantastic. As I said, the cast is great. We've got Michael Caine. And Mike, what can you say about Michael Caine? He is. Sometimes we forget how good he is. I think, because so used to him doing all sorts and the variety of roles. And yeah, he does sometimes not as good films, but when he's in a film like this, he actually thought this was going to be a big hit, and it was a box office flop. It's only in later sort of years over time that people began to appreciate this film. He really wanted to do it because he liked the ideas about the belief in God and all that. You know, him for his time questioning, how religion uses people to get what control them, basically get what they want from that. So you get 1 minute some rulers are Catholic, next minute they're a Protestant fighting away over land. This film looks straight at that. You can see all about that. It's brilliant. And Omar Sharif is in this one. And so we had him in Lawrence of Arabia. And he's really good in this. I like him. He's a good friend to. I suppose they have a lot of respect for each other. Those two characters, Michael Caine's character and Omar Sharif. Then we've got. I thought a performance was really good, which is somebody called Florinda Balkian. She's a Brazilian actress, really stunning. She's excellent in this. Then you've got another stalwart Englishman actor, Nigel Davenport, who is just in a hell of a lot of films. Just one of those that pops up all over the place. Really good actor. So I mean, the story is basically he's a mercenary leader, Michael Caine's character, and they go from place to place. Villagers hire them to protect themselves against the war, so other things going on around them. There's this big 30 years war, and a lot of people want to keep out of it because they're afraid that these troops come in, they're going to be really disrupt everything, and they're afraid, and as they would be, quite rightly, especially with religion and what they're doing, burning people. Even in this, we get the burning of a woman who says a witch. We get all that stuff. So this is what makes this film rather good. I think it stands out. It's just showing you about what religion does and why people have these beliefs in certain ways and what it does. It's got the political aspect, which I think is great. And also, as I said, seeing the 30 Years' War is really good because it's something, I remember in history that we never was taught this. Really, it's always been British-based history, which I suppose is understandable, but you never get the European history as much. Sometimes a bit about France and what have you, but this was a big conflict in Europe in 17th century, and because we would have ours with our English Civil War. It's just a great film, and it's brilliant. And the thing is, they know that when it's the season comes, when it's snowing and that they're going to be safe, it's when it's not snow and when the troops can get access, and that is when they've got a problem. And Michael Caine is great. There's some great scenes as well in it of the fighting that goes on and the protection, and it's just really well done. I absolutely loved it. Really good historical film. And next, well, I've picked this one. This is a very interesting film, and I'm quite totally sure what to make of it. For various reasons, but it's called Baquero. I think that's the right pronunciation. Baquero. It's from 1970. It's a Western. Now, it's directed by Gordon Douglas, who directed a Laurel and Hardy film. Delboy would be interested in Saps at Sea, 1940. And then some of his films are just so interesting. He directed a film called Zombies on Broadway, 1945. I love that, Zombies on Broadway. Then he did Rio Conchos, 1964, and Robin and the Seven Hoods, 1964. Tony Rome. Now, Tony Rome, I think that's the Frank Sinatra film, 1967. And then another film that is really well liked, I think, Sidney Poitier, They Call Me Mr. Tibbs, 1970. Nevada Smith, 1975. And Viva Knievel, 1977. That's a director. Brilliant direction. And when you see you've got a cast of Lee Van Cleef, you're going, oh, spaghetti western, it must be. But it's not really. Though it's got some of the directing is kind of rather spaghetti western. I'll talk about that in a bit. And then we've got Warren Oates. Warren Oates, another great character actor, brilliant, he's in it. And then Forrest Tucker was another perennial actor that pops up in so many these kind of films. Absolutely brilliant. So what you have in this film, you have these sort of band of mercenaries, and they're brutal. They're really brutal. We see at the beginning, really, they just kill people and take everything. That's what they do. Now, they've got to cross this river to get into Mexico because they're fleeing, and they'll be safe if they go to Mexico. Nobody's going to follow them. And this river is interesting because on this river, you have Lee Van Cleef's character. He has effectively like a barge that he's made, kind of, that he has it on a rope, and he moves across the river, transporting the locals and what people need. And he seems content and happy with what he does. That's what he does. But of course, he's going to get put into this situation because the settlements are going to are threatened now, and of course his life will be threatened as well. When these desperados, you can call them, these brutal people, are going to kill the settlement. So what he does is he gets involved with helping them be safe and making sure that these people cannot get across the river. And it's brilliant. And you get quite a bloody battle scenes as well. And then we get, I think, the final confrontation that you've all been waiting for. And it happens at the end. And then the film just ends on the eye really quickly on this confrontation. But when I say it's got this spaghetti western feel, the spaghetti western feel is there in the way it's filmed. You get these, like, the music a bit as well. The music has that feel. You get these like glares and staring, and like you get in spaghetti westerns. And that is in this, even though I say it's not really a spaghetti western at all, but you get that feel in it. And I think Lee Van Cleef is great. Is a character, I think, who doesn't really say a great deal about, but you sort of learn a bit about him as it goes along. But he's kind of, they put a bit of kind of ambiguity around him. I suppose that's like the anti-hero thing that you often get. And it's a role I've not seen him play really like this, and I like it for that. This film, the fact that it's quite unusual, Lee Van Cleef is owning a barge, basically. That's what it's about. He's not some sort of wacky gunfighter or going, killing loads of people. He's there doing this barge thing, and I thought it was absolutely great. I don't know how many people, when you hear people talking about Lee Van Cleef, I wonder how many people actually mention this film. I don't know. It might be well known, but I'd never heard of it, and I was surprised. And I think the fact that I was surprised was good because I thought, wow, this is a really good Western. Absolutely. You know, I've called it a Western because that's what it is, really. But with that added, it's got that added story. And so the ending is quite, it abruptly ends when we get the final confrontation, but that is quite good. You're quite satisfied and happy with the ending. And I think that made it agree. I really loved it. I loved that film. And then finally, it was inevitable. I suppose I'm doing this every week, really. Is that I'm going to do, I always just can't stop myself at the moment because I love Hammer so much. I decided to watch Revenge of Frankenstein from 1958. Now, this is a direct sequel to The Curse of Frankenstein. Because if you remember, at the end of The Curse of Frankenstein, we see Dr. Frankenstein, Peter Cushing's character, going to the gallows. Yes, he's going to get his head cut off. And the film starts there. Now, obviously, we'd have no film if he did get his head cut off. And this is, I think it's brilliant the way it just goes into it. So you could almost put the two films together. Just absolutely brilliant. Now, I think they have made a few changes to Peter Cushing's character, the Baron. Now, we don't see him as a womanizer in this film anymore. He's got that out of his system. He's had his fun, but now he's going to concentrate on what he likes to earn best. Creating bodies and putting them together and brains and all that sort of stuff, and upsetting the establishment. And it's called Revenge of Frankenstein because he wants his revenge. He's going to go ahead and do this. He's got no time for all these piddling people. So what has happened is that he's now moved out of, I think it was probably Switzerland, and he's moved on, be it Austria or Germany, somewhere like that. And he's set up this practice, and he is called Dr. Stein. Oh, Dr. Stein, yes. And he has built up a lot of patients, and he happens to do a lot of work at this poor hospital, where there's a lot of poor people, and he's continuing his work, really, because he's looking at these poor people and their bodies when they die. Could be quite useful for him, and that's what we get the basis. And he has this assistant as well, who is he's got quite a twisted, distorted body, but his brain is top, and he has promised him that he will get him a good body, a normal body, and put the brain in there, his brain inside a good body. So that's an interesting twist, because the monster isn't a monster. It's not like we saw in the first film, Made Up. We saw Christopher Lee playing the monster. In this, you can't really say it's the monster, because it's a body, and he's putting the brain of this person in that body, who's going to look normal, not all patched up. So you're not going to get like a patched work body. You get somebody who, if it was all successful, it should be okay. But of course, we know how things are. Nothing like this. It's not going to work like that. Now, there is a woman in this who volunteers, but she's not sort of the romantic interest. That's played by Eunice Gayson, who was in Dr. No, 1962, and From Russia with Love, 1963. So she's a Bond woman, and she's in this, but she isn't, as say, a major part of it. She's just volunteering, doing a bit of nursing kind of stuff. But the other character we've got, have you noticed, he always has to have an assistant, and he's got this time an assistant played by Francis Matthews. Francis Matthews again. Now, we'd seen him in Dracula, Prince of Darkness, 1966, and of course he's famous for his voice acting, and he's a really good actor. I quite enjoy watching him. Anyhow, he's the assistant. The other thing I must point out as well is that we have got Michael Ripper. Yes, Michael Ripper with Lionel Jeffries. Lionel Jeffries making an appearance. They're like two drunks together. Yeah. So you got to have your Michael Ripper moment, and he's there. I think this film just stands out again as a great sequel. I absolutely love this as a sequel. I say it's changed there has been changes in this, and it was inevitable because there had been such a big success that they thought, right, we'll have to get our sequel out pretty quick, and they did. And I like the fact that it does actually follow on. It's a follow on with just a few changes here and there to it, but I just loved it. It's all that Hammer stuff that you all love. You've got to love Hammer. I mean, when you see the laboratories as well, the laboratory that he's got, it's just absolutely looks great. But it's interesting that, as I say, we haven't really got a monster. It becomes, when things go wrong, it's sort of the brain kind of rejects the body a bit, and he starts to go funny in the end. So I suppose you could say it does become the monster, but it's not the sort of initially a monster that we see. So I think that's good. And the other thing is the ending. The ending is really interesting. It's not like, again, I'm thinking, when I think of Hammer, I always think of fires and crowds at the end. But this isn't like that, is it? It's not copying the Universal, because what happens is that they end up managing to get out of this situation and move on and start again, and they go to London. So it's at the end we see them in London, and it's setting up a new practice, and we gather he'll get on and do what he's been doing there. And I love that ending. I thought it was a great, absolutely great ending again. So there's so much about this film that I think I'd forgotten, actually. I thought I'd remembered so much. This is, I think just watching this with The Curse of Frankenstein together is a great thing. It's just a really good, and now of course I'm looking forward to the next one. So I'm going to have to watch the next Frankenstein film. I'm hooked on them. I'm gonna keep watching the Frankenstein films every week. I'll watch a Frankenstein one. I've just got to. Peter Cushing is, there's a documentary on here talking about the people, who look at his performances. And his performances are just fantastic. The way he acts, the way he has props, and it says just watch him, what he's doing as well as he's saying his lines, and he just fits into the role. I mean, you couldn't have anybody else in this series of films. It's just has to be Peter Cushing, and he's great. And it's interesting, I think, watching how all these Frankensteins develops, and we're getting different takes on Frankenstein as well as the creature. We also going to get, I think, his character changing, and which I think is interesting. But yeah, I really recommend this. Anybody who hasn't seen these, oh, you need to see them. They're a treat. They're an absolute treat. Hammer is just absolutely fantastic. I love Hammer. It's something that's a part of me, I think, because I grew up with it. You know, when you get a treat and you watch Hammer films, that's what it was for me. Mum saying, "Oh, you can stay up and watch it," and she used to love them. My dad, not as much. He was at war films, which was a big influence on me as well. But my mum, she loved all these Hammer as well. So yeah, I had an influences from mum and dad. But yeah, that's it. I'll end on that one. So what we'll do now is we'll get to the comments. So let's try that. Right. So we have got Sai saying, "Evening gang, hello Sai, thank you so much for coming on." And then we have got Rocket Bunny, definitely the oldie. Oh dear. And then Rocket Bunny says, "Hey Sai." Then we got Sai saying, "Hi Rocket Bunny," and Tony says, "Good evening, Ian, Del, Sai, and Rocket." Yeah, good evening. And this, yeah, it's Billy Liar, isn't it? Did you have that one last week on? I don't know. I can't remember. You've changed. Billy Liar. Another brilliant film. Yeah. And then you got Sai saying, "Hi, Tony." And then, "Hey, Tony Hammerless." The Spanner, I think. Hammerless, Spanner. Yeah, we won't talk about that again. And then we have got Jim Jam. Good evening, all. Good evening. Welcome, Jim Jam. Brilliant. And then we've got Sai saying, "Hi, Jim Jam." And then this is what Delboy mentioned. "Just a rumor, but network might be making a return." Wow. Yeah, that's going to be that'll be big news. That will be. And Tony's responding with various emojis there. Thank you. Yes. There's a hammer or a spanner. Yeah, there's a hammer there. And then, yes, network. Oh my God. It could. Yes. Oh, why not? Yeah, that will. Yeah, that'll be brilliant. Do you know? I hope it does. I really do. It's got to, hasn't it? That would be fantastic. And then Jim Dunn said, "Hi, Sai." And then Tony says, "I saw that network under construction. Thought it was just left over from when they finished." But it may not be. Well, that would be great. Rocket Buddy saying, "Hey, Jim Jam." And then Tony says, "It is perhaps Old Gold that's bought the rights to use the network name on future releases." I don't know. Could be. That would be interesting. Yeah, but yeah, that means you might get more. I don't know. I don't know what's happening really, but I think it sounds as if it could be really good news. And then Tony says, "Hi, James." So says, "Del, I really enjoyed your apartment video. It's definitely in my top 10 of all time films. For me, Jack Lemmon's best performance." Yeah, it was a great video. I don't know why it didn't do so well, but as I know with my channel, you can put your heart and soul into a video and not get much at all. And that's how it is. But, you know, sometimes you get a better viewing. But it should. I agree. I like his whole. He's not here, so his head will expand. But I actually think he's very good at what he does. His series of these film, looking at the films, I think are excellent. He's spot on. He's got it all. He's got the formula right. Everything is right about it, and I think it was good. It deserved a lot of more views than they're getting. You know, because I know the effort you put into that. is amazing. But say the formula works so well, and I think they're really good. I did. I enjoyed them, and I'm sure a lot of people that did watch them enjoyed them, but not enough. I don't know. I just don't understand why they should do. They should watch his videos. They're top notch. Um, and then Tony says, "Cheers as ever, Del, for the shout out." Yeah, you'll always get that. You'll always get it. And then we have got Wee Bombard. He says, oh, you gents are good and everyone is doing well. Mercy was okay, but is a one-time watch. Yeah, it is. It's just okay, but these kind of movies, I just don't. I don't get them really that much. I just think I don't want to see all these kind of clips put together and all that. I don't know. I just not proper to me. It's a very average movie. If it wasn't for Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson, it would fly under the radar. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it would. I mean, it just didn't do out really for me. It's a one-time watch. It was all right and it was entertaining, but I could have done without some of the stuff in it, the way it was put together. I'd like to have seen a more old-fashioned kind of look, but they don't do that nowadays. They've always think they've got to have an hand look. Maybe it's well, I don't know if there's a cheapness factor involved, where it's cheap to do it that way. It's cheaper than other ways. I don't know. It just seems. I don't know. It's not always for me at all. And then Si says, "Hey, wee Bob," and then Tony says, "Hi, Bob," and then yeah, Rebecca Ferguson, yes, of course, why not? She's a pretty lady. She did a decent job of the baddie in Doctor Sleep. Yeah, Doctor Sleep. I've not seen that for a long time. I was going to say I can't remember that much about Doctor Sleep. All I remember is that they did a brilliant job of the reconstruction of the Shining set in that hotel and all that. That was brilliant. But the actual film, maybe it's something I should watch again. I don't know. I remember thinking it was okay. I wasn't blown away, but I thought it was all right. I enjoyed it. And because, I mean, isn't it, you can't really do a film like, follow a film like The Shining, can you really? It's one of those things. But it wasn't a bad attempt. I was saying it wasn't terrible. It was okay to watch. And I have got it, I think, in my collection. But I think it's one you can rewatch, and I think I should at some time get round to rewatching it. And then Rocket Bunny says, "Hey Bob, wow, I said that like Rowan Atkinson in my head." And then Sarah says, "Be up." And then Tony says, "I'll be back shortly. I just need to pop out for a rather large cardboard box." Oh dear. I quite enjoy the remake of Brighton Rock, mainly for Helen Mirren. Yeah, I think, well, yeah, Helen Mirren, I suppose you can say that. He's okay. It's not terrible. No, it's all right. It's because I love the first film so much. But no, it's not bad. It's not a terrible, like some of these remakes. It isn't terrible, no. And as you say, Helen Mirren, there's no wrong with that at all. Helen Mirren, yeah. Wee Bobber says, "I'm Googling the reference, not a TV show I've seen, assuming it is Black Adder the reference is from." And Si says, "I remember watching Brighton Rock on one Saturday night at my grandparents' house. It always reminds me of them. It's amazing how old films bring back sentimental memories." Oh, wow. Yeah, I could talk about that all the time. Yeah. It does. Every day I get memories about my mum and dad who I miss so much. And yeah, films are good at doing that, you know. And for once, as saying, I remember with Hammer films, my mum absolutely loved the Hammer films. She thought they were great. My dad wasn't as keen as much. He was all into the war films and Bond films and all that. But they do that old films, don't they? They make you think about things and times and what you were doing at certain times in your life. I always think as a child what I was doing at that certain times and where I was and certain films. Yeah, I think that's what make films so great. Like I love watching them, proper films, where you actually get a good memory of that. I mean, there'll be films like even nowadays you're still building up memories if they're a good film. If it's a good film, you think, oh yeah, that brings back some good memories a particular time. Yeah, it is important, I think, to have those memories, and it's nice that they carry on throughout his life, you know. And I seem to think about them all the time. Tony says, yeah, William Hartnell played a criminal in quite a few films before playing the Doctor. Yeah, he was that kind of actor, wasn't it? I mean, that's why playing the Doctor was uh, totally different for him, but you could see why he would jump at that. He's got the ability as an actor, and why it was a great opportunity for him. Absolutely wonderful opportunity. Um, yeah, I'm sure we will be talking about that because we are going to be doing a Doctor Who special um, for our 100th. I think I might have mentioned classic Doctor Who, not the new stuff. But we're going to leave it open to everybody to talk about their favorite Doctors, favorite stories, and we'll talk about our memories, and hopefully you people can talk about what they liked about the Doctors. What made for me it's like saying what made classic Doctor Who the best. As much as the comeback stuff, some earlier stuff was quite good. Eccleston, I quite like. Though even he's got some really awful stories, like those awful aliens. There's some the farting aliens. Oh dear me, I don't know what to make of them. And David Tennant had up and down episodes. He was all right, but he wasn't. It still, though it did at the time seem, oh, they've caught some of the magic. When I look back and went back looking at Doctor Who, I thought Doctor Who, this is the best. It's still the best, the classic era. Anyway, I shouldn't be going on. I should talk about that when we have our special. But that's what it. William Hartnell. It was great, and of course, I always mention Carry On Sergeant because that's such an important film, the first of the Carry On films, even though it's a bit different in tone to how they become, but it starts it off, so that's how we look at it. And it was that kind of actor, really good. Anyway, not sure if I'll be back, so I hope you'll have a good stream and I'll watch on the replay. Thank you, Bob. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you so much. I'm sure Delboy says, best wishes to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And then Simon says, I'm going to watch the 4K restoration of Lawrence of Arabia in April. Wow. Isn't that amazing coincidence, isn't it? I can't wait to see the vastness on the big screen. You are in for an absolute treat. I mean, I'm going to have to upgrade that at some time, definitely, because it is so good. As you can see, how passionate Delboy is about it. I think I've kind of missed it to some extent about how good it actually was. It's a long time ago since I watched it. I did watch it on the big screen. It would have been at university and when we had the film club, but I've forgotten. It's such a long time ago, and now I think I appreciate films better maybe than I did then. And this film is just made. It's made for the cinema, isn't it? Yeah. There's some films we can look at and say, yeah, it's a true cinematic experience, isn't it? Lawrence of Arabia. So you're really lucky going to see that. I think that is great. And of course, if you get the sound right as well, that's where the sound comes in and that music. I say I don't normally go on about musical soundtracks much, but that one you can't help but ignore it. Absolutely love it. And then Tony says, very unusual setting for Last Fella. Is the Rutger historical set then too? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. That would be good. That would be interesting to know. I don't know. No, apparently it's set in the 16th century Italy. There's the answer. Yeah, there's the answer. Which is different. Yeah. 17th century is the 30 Years' War. Yeah, but Italy in 16th century, I think there's it's not a united country, Italy, of course. It's all different states and fighting each other and various wars going on in Italy because there's no unification at all. And you can imagine a lot of mercenaries and people going to fight that. Yeah, definitely. Probably rich pickings as well. I mean, the Vatican, if you could get hold of the Vatican, imagine, if you controlled the popes and the Vatican, you had a major political power. And that's what some of the popes built up their own dynasty. And we know, like with the Borgias, they were a powerful family. And of course, they thought, we might as well take control of the Vatican and get some Borgia popes in, which they did. And some were quite infamous in what they did. There was that brilliant, terrible BBC series. I say terrible; it's quite good fun. Where they did one about the Borgias. I don't know if anybody saw that. It was it was talked about a lot. But they were up to all sorts. They were a right lot. Yeah. And Antonio says, Florida Balkan is in several Italian crime giallo films. Right. Yes. Yeah, that's why I couldn't pronounce all. There's some of these films I just couldn't pronounce. There were loads listed on there. Right, I get that. Right, yeah. I liked her actually. I think she's pretty good. Flesh and Blood is the whole one I was thinking of. Right. Flesh and Blood. Do you know? I'm sure I've seen that. I'm sure I've got that. I thought it was one that you sent me actually. I'll have to have a look at that one. Yeah. I'm sure I've got that. I'll have to check that out. Yeah. I may be wrong. Sai says, yeah, Flesh and Blood is a great film. Yeah. And then lots of boobs. I remember. Yeah, you've got to have a few boobs, haven't you? You've got to have lots of boobs. That's the great thing about Hammer. Even in those 1950 ones, they were trying to push them to push the boobs out, and then yeah. So you've got to have these boob films. And then Tony says, yeah, Warren Oates is really over the top baddie in the Barquero. Van Cleef plays a goodie for once. Yeah, he is a goodie. It is good to see that. I just like the idea. It was different, wasn't it? As somebody who owns this barge. I thought it was really good. It was unusual. It just stood out. But yes, he is a bit over the top, Warren Oates, but quite enjoyable and entertaining. He is terrible. And And then Si says, was Warren Oates the drill sergeant in Stripes? Oh, I don't know. See if anybody might answer that. I agree, and I think Barraquero was an American attempt to copy a spaghetti made at the time they were so popular. I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're exactly spot on there. Because you can see where they're trying to copy the spaghetti western in places, definitely. And of course, getting Lee Van Cleef, then that probably thought, yeah, we can do that. I think that's what they were doing, definitely. With regard, watched all the Hammer Frankensteins a few months ago. Revenge was my favorite, was it? Wow. Yeah, I'm looking. I think I definitely want to just carry on, because it's interesting how the different takes, as I remember, of the Baron is really interesting, and of course the monster, how that develops. But yeah, I think Revenge is a great film. Absolutely, perhaps one that is overshadowed because Curse of Frankenstein was such a big major film, wasn't it? Such an important film. But I like the fact that it is a direct sequel to it, and they rushed it out as well because it had been such a big success, and quite right, they wanted to cash in on that, and they did, and I think they did a really good job, and it is a really good film. And then Sai says, with the talk of Frankenstein, I'm going to watch the new film, The Bride, on Sunday on IMAX. I'm hearing good things about it. Oh, I hope that's good. I think that'll be great. What a wonderful thing. Yeah, it has been talked about, hasn't it, The Bride? So I think I'm hoping it'll be really good for, and you'll enjoy it. Especially on IMAX as well. And yeah, welcome back. And have you anything to say about The Bride? What you've heard about it?
That it's got some good reviews. That it's out this week. That it's a remake of The Bride that I saw in the 80s. I think that's right.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that version, so I expect that this one will be hopefully as good, and that the director has done his own take. I don't like it when they just do it scene for scene.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say really, because I remember seeing my story of The Bride was I didn't see it at the cinema, but it was one of those ones that I got as an early VHS. And I was taken aback a little bit that there was a pop star in it. There was a pop star in it.
Sting.
Yeah.
Sting, isn't it? Yeah, Sting. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it was unusual, other than like the man I found out later that the man that fell to earth.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I found out those things through Moviola, which was a TV show that used to be on BBC Two, that introduced me to films like Phase 4 and the Andromeda Strain and all of those, because they were all films that were then quite historic, like Westworld. They were films that the BBC had shown and they hadn't shown for a while, and they put them into a little category niche. And had was it Alex North? Is that his name? I think that's his name. That did the introduction and told you the history
Alex
of it.
Cox.
Alex Cox, that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
I quite remember what his name was.
Yeah.
And he was superseded again by somebody else in the later series of the movie.
Yeah.
It was sort of like shown in the sort of like autumn every year, and it was just a series of about 6 films that they showed. That was it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I think it went for about 5 or 6 years or something before it was taken off. I have nothing but happy memories of seeing the cover on the shelf. When I picked it up and took it to the desk and said, I want to see this. And then the guy behind there would say, oh, did you know this about it? It was nice. Something that you miss, I think, a little bit, that Blockbusters became a very sterile environment where there was people that were behind the counter that didn't watch hardly any films. It was just a job to them. But in the early days of VHS stores, they'd say, "Oh yeah, yeah, there's when you get to that bit, oh, I had to turn my eyes and all this.
Yeah.
And go, oh, I'm excited now to get home and watch this.
Yeah.
I never had that a bit later on. I found that a bit sterile, blockbusters.
Yeah.
But those early people won't know this unless you're of a certain age. That's what we loved about going into your local VHS, because the guy behind the counter would mostly, and I'd only say mostly, I can't say for everyone, would know an awful lot about what you were going to be renting out.
Yeah.
Especially if it wasn't the film of the week, it was off of the shelf that had been out for a while.
Yeah.
He'd know an awful, or she would know an
Yeah.
awful lot, about stuff. And once you got to get a good rapport with them, sometimes they'd throw in a little trinket like, "Oh, I've got an old poster that I was going to chuck out. A lot of the stuff that I had to put up about this film, I'm junking because I've got to put it in the Grundon, really. Would you like one of them? Would you like a poster?" And you'd go, "Oh yeah, wouldn't mind a poster of that. Yeah. You know what I mean?" And you carried home things like standouts and things like this that were stuck in the corner because they were taking up too much room, and they were from films that nobody was really renting anymore. So, they were quite happy to hand over that stuff. Now, I think Blockbusters are in the worst position because they had to return their stuff to head office. They didn't have that luxury of being able to give that stuff out.
Yeah.
But it was great. It brings back all those memories of me buying the big box version of the VHS rather than the sell-through.
Do you know, my memories, sort of going back further, is our local corner shop, them having like this rack. They just had a little rack, and they might have had about 10 VHS videos on, and you could rent them out there. This was before having these shops, before the shops. And then it progressed into having sort of independent rental shops. And I funnily enough, Blockbuster, I never really used or got into. I was buying them, I think, and doing that. So we never used to do that. But I did rent from these small independent ones when it was just really starting out, because there wasn't much sell through then. Yeah, they were good. They were good. You didn't have much choice, but it was good.
Yeah, I used to buy the big box versions before the sell through. I didn't mind paying an extra 3 or 4 quid above what the sell through would be, because
I know people get nostalgic, and I can understand why, about those black Warner Brothers cases. There was always something nice about those black Warner Brothers cases. They really look good.
Yeah. The other thing I remember was after a while, it became a thing that when you joined the local video store, for you to rent stuff out, they'd try to sell you the insurance of, if you get this caught in your machine and it breaks, you owe us 70 quid. So you really want to pay for this insurance.
Yeah,
that happens. Otherwise, we'll be giving you a bill. We'll be giving you a bill. It'll be 70 odd quid. That's how much it costs. Blah 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 blah.
But I remember renting stuff, and they were terrible. So that obviously
when our local VHS store closed down because Blockbuster just took over, the guy behind the counter, his name was Lawrence. He gave me his rewind machine.
Oh.
The machine that you just put the tape in, and all it did was rewind.
Yeah.
Because of all of the people that would bring back the tapes, and they hadn't rewound them.
Yeah, that's right. They used to have a note, like a sticker or something, "Please rewind," but people didn't, did they?
And I wonder sometimes, because they used to have your details on the computer when you were renting them out. And I wondered, when the place went bust, what did they do with your personal details?
Oh.
Did that computer get junked, and did somebody nick it in the hard drive and know everybody's bank account details and all of this sort of stuff?
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah. It was at a time where they had these cheap PCs. They were like green screens.
Yeah.
I do remember them because my mate who worked behind the counter on a Sunday, he used to get, oh, it's crashed. And I said, oh, let me come behind there. I'll fix it for you. And I used to go around there and I'd find out, yeah, and it crashed because of this. You press this button and all this sort of stuff. And I'd bring it back up. He had to put the password in. Sometimes he had to phone up the manager and say, I don't know what the password is for switching it back on. And he'd ask questions like, why are you having to switch it back on? Because it's crashed. Oh, right. Okay. I'll be down. And he said, no, just tell me the password. I can get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, and it was all like that. It was very hush hush. But, you know, these boutique video stores, I wonder what they did with the hardware, you know, the PCs, because, you know, if he just went, oh, well, I'm
Just
junking
chuck it away. Yeah.
I just wonder what happened to that, you know, because
Yeah.
it had all my address details, date of birth, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
These days, you have to have a certificate, you know, to junk your hardware. You have to dispose of it in a proper way. Otherwise, you know, people get hold of this information and they sell it on and all sorts of stuff, you know. So yeah, weird. But those things have come to my mind. And it's weird how we've gone off on a tangent. We were talking about Frankenstein. Suddenly we're starting talking about VHS days and stuff. But there you go.
Memories.
That's my brain again taking us on a tangent.
It's memories. Things end up there. Anyhow, Tony York is we always say this. If you're a Hammer fan, you know Michael Ripper. Yes, he just pops up in just that one role. Well, he just pops up in every Hammer film as a landlord or as a drunk or somebody.
Like I said, I saw Lust for a Vampire on Monday. That's one with the boob sticking out. I tell you.
Oh yes, they got a bit more. They decided they thought they had to change a bit. And
I'm guessing here, but was that was a 1970s film, wasn't it?
That's right.
72.
They felt they had to change with the times a bit more and be a bit more explicit.
And it had the guy from the TV comedy show Dear John, I think. As he played in the film Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, didn't he?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, I've forgotten his name. What is his name? He's great in that.
Well, he was in a number of films, and then he turned up in crappy TV comedies. Ralph Bates. Tony's just said, Ralph Bates.
Yes, yeah.
He had a great film career, really.
Yeah.
When you consider, I remember so many Hammer productions and other films that Ralph Bates was in. Then I didn't see him until Dear John, and then nothing. I think he died. I think actually,
he died
quite early.
Yeah,
rightly.
Yeah,
might have even been by suicide. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Anyhow. Right, we've got now Rocket Bunny doing another joke, as he always does, about me. Just watch Peter Cushing in both the Dalek films in 4K on Amazon last weekend. He's an often forgotten doctor I have a secret soft spot for. Yeah. Oh, why not? It's Peter.
I mean, I must admit, if you actually take away the P in Pete, you know, if you just keep the P in Peter, that's P cushion, pin cushion.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'll let you talk about your memories of the Dalek films. I know mine.
Well, I don't want to go into too much because I will do. But I thought we've got our doctor.
Well, I'll tell you what. Just remember this, folks. We both Ian and I were both in a live talkie broadcast in regards to the Dalek Peter Cushing.
Yeah,
weren't we? Back in the day. We were going to do a second one. We were going to do the second one, but we never got round to doing that.
Yeah. I always say that it's interesting how they call him Doctor Who, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Call him Doctor Who. And that first film, it's very it's an interesting film. It's an interesting portrayal of the Doctor, I think, by Cushing. But I think the film is not as good as the second film. The second film is much better. It's one that I remember more and been excited by. I loved the second film.
Well,
It's got Bernard Cribbins in it as well.
In the second one.
The second one. And
who was in the first one?
I'm just trying to
dedication. That's what you need.
Roy Castle.
There you go.
Roy Castle. Maybe in a way that reflects that they had him in it, and I don't know. It's lacking in some things. It's a shame. It just.
I'll tell you this about it, right? I expected Bernard Cribbins to be a bit bumbly.
Yeah.
But I never expected Roy Castle to be. And yet he's the one that leaned back and started the whole TARDIS going off and seemed to be stumbling over his shoes and all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And Bernard Cribbins seemed to be the better fit.
Yeah. I think that's
maybe
right.
It was because of his voice in the Wombles and seeing him in Jack and Nori. He seemed to be the person that was fallible. And Roy Castle was in the Guinness Book of Records type show.
It didn't seem as convincing, did he?
So you always thought of him as being like indestructible, or he could actually do some of these Guinness World Records. All this sort of stuff. So I don't know if it was that because of my childhood that I just thought of him as being, he seems to be stumbling all over the place, this bloke. Yeah. He can play a trumpet and tap dance and all this sort of stuff. What the heck's he do? Bernard Cribbins in the second, in a way, was sort of like that uncle that you really would find fun to be around, and and all of that sort of stuff. You know how it is. You always thought of your dad as being indestructible. Do you know what I mean? And I always thought of Roy Castle as being, he could do just about everything. You know
That's
what I mean?
it. Yeah.
So I do, when I think back at Doctor Who, and I think, there's nothing wrong with those films. They're all right. And I like the fact that Peter Cushing enjoyed himself doing them. He said,
yes, yeah.
He really enjoyed it. At least they're there on celluloid for people to see again.
Good, don't they? They look good.
It's that color, it's that rich color there again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huge hues of greens and reds and oranges.
Fantastic looking, yeah. Just great. I saw them at the cinema, and then they used to be on BBC. Showed them. I remember a few times. I remember at various times seeing them on the BBC.
I only ever saw the second one at the cinema.
Yeah. Well,
it was during that. I say it again, Kids Saturday cinema.
Yeah, the Kids Saturday things. It was
did a double bill, and you'd have expected you'd have expected because they did double bills that you'd have had Doctor Who 1 and Doctor Who 2, but they didn't do that.
But they didn't.
No, not in this case.
Yeah,
it's where I'm sorry to say it. It's where I saw that shit film Condor, man. I don't give a shit what size.
I know you had to get a Condor.
What a bag of frigging pants that frigging film was. Only because Michael Crawford, he should have known better, to be quite honest. They had the Condor Man vehicle outside our cinema. What did they go and do? Put that crap on. Jesus. No, it's not as bad as that. It's my memory of it really, it was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
I remember the special effects looking worse than a Doctor Who production from the 1960s. You know what I mean? It was pretty bloody fun.
Yeah. And Tony says, and it wouldn't be soft if it was cushioned.
Oh, for God's sake. Peter cushioned, yeah.
Yeah. Had Zeppelin last week. Yeah, you did have Zeppelin, which I love. Zeppelin is a fantastic film. Love Zeppelin. But Bill Elias pretty good as well. And then we've got here, again, it's something we could talk about it as well. Eccleston was a perfect new Doctor. While I enjoyed Tennant, I preferred Matt Smith's Doctor more. It's unfortunate that writing's starting to let down Capaldi, as he couldn't have been much better in my view. Eccleston, I always loved Eccleston, apart from I say those episodes with farting aliens. I couldn't. That ruined the first first series that we had. But other than that,
the ones where they unzip themselves from their foreheads.
I didn't like that.
Or is it the Sliverine? Is that what they were called?
That's it. Yeah. Thank God they didn't use them after that. There were twice they were used, weren't there? There are some bad episodes, but yet, even in the bad episodes, I think that Eccleston is still outstanding. I love this. I love his approach. Everything about it was just right. And of course, one of the all-time best Doctor Who stories in New Who, and even possibly if we combine both, would be the episode called Dalek. It is a superb episode.
Well, that was the third story.
Yeah, it's so well written, and it's brilliantly performed by Eccleston. He just makes that so good, that episode. What a performance. So it kind of made up for when we had the bad stories, having that one. I'd love to have seen another series by Eccleston, but that wasn't going to happen.
Well, I have my own opinion. It says here, it's unfortunate writing started to let down Capaldi. Now, I look at that as meaning that it started off strong and got worse, where I think that the problem with Capaldi, the writing for Capaldi, was actually that the stories were inconsistent.
I'm going to agree with you.
If I remember the last season, it actually
one with Bill is best. Good. My favorite.
Yeah, you know, the two-part Cyberman story with. I thought that was a very strong story. There was a fantastic story where the Doctor aged thousands of years. He was in a loop. He was in a castle of some sort, running around. It's just that it started off quite poor. Deep Breath, I think, was the first story, which the anticipation was so high. The story the script got stolen, didn't it? I remember that being all over the news.
I remember being a bit bored with that one, Deep Breath. I didn't.
Yeah, well, it's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex going around near Big Ben. I was going, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
We've had the dinosaur story with John Pertwee. So we know sort of about all of this. But the Matt Smith's the trouble for me with Capaldi is these ideas of having sonic sunglasses and sonic guitars that it didn't seem right for Capaldi to have a rock guitar, and he had his grey hair and all of that sort of stuff. He didn't look like an old rocker to me. He looked like, it's one of those things where it seemed out of character for me. And so also, Matt Smith was more consistent in regards to what he was wearing and how he acted. Tennant obviously is well regarded, and quite rightly so, because he was in it for quite a few years, and the stories were mostly of a high end, but there was some real shit amongst it. Don't get me wrong. And Eccleston just started the whole thing off, and it ended so well for Eccleston. That two-part story. With the Daleks, I mean, everybody was going, wow, look at the effects in this, and the story was quite strong, and then there was the shock of a regeneration because I mean, it really was, what, this is happening already. So it's a baptism of fire. I've got nothing but good things to say up until the end of Capaldi. I even like the final story where he met the William Hartnell character.
Oh yes, yeah.
Where he held back his regeneration.
Do you think one of the worst stories though was that one with the moon? That has to be perhaps.
There were so many stories I think that were on the moon. I didn't like the David Tennant one with the bloody Jajon on it. The hospital landed on the moon and everything.
Yes.
Okay. Every time there was something about the moon, it was like, what the hell are you doing? Every time you go on the moon, it's a shit. It's a shit.
Didn't they try and recreate the Victorian thing as well? Like first man in the moon kind of idea.
Wow, it wasn't the Capaldi one. The moon is hollow type thing, wasn't it?
Who was it that was? Was it the Ice Warriors? Wasn't that? Was it them that came back on that story? I think it.
Well, you had the Cybermen for the moon base.
Yeah.
You had the Ice Warriors from Mars.
Yeah.
And they were stuck in the ice for the Ice Warriors.
Yeah.
And they were on SETI 5 for.
Yeah. I really ought to watch some of the new Doctor Who stuff. It's not new now, is it? But I should watch the sort of. Perhaps I will. Maybe I will carry on and review some of those. Maybe I should do after this room.
I don't think it would hurt for you to do.
Yeah, I just like to see
stories that you enjoyed, and then stories that you were disgusted with, and take away the mediocre ones, because you're talking about two extremes.
Yeah, I think it might be worth me doing that.
Did you know, by the way, I didn't know if you know this, and this might big up your channel a little bit. But Channel 5 all this week have been showing the X-Files.
Have they? Oh, well done. Well, great. Yeah.
They're heavily advertising that you can stream every episode.
Really?
They showed this week episodes 1, 3. So they did Tombs, they did the liver.
Yeah.
They did the one with the fortune teller.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was going around killing the fortune tellers.
Yeah.
With their eyes and the entrails.
Yeah.
They did the first story with the boy that the father was sort of protecting, and they left little marks on their back, which was the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
But they've been showing them this week, and I thought, do you know what? I'll mention that in my blog because I did watch those.
Yeah,
and of course it will link into your X-File reviews.
I think the first series is absolutely brilliant. I really love the first series. It's one that you can. It's a lot more monster of the week, and I think that makes it better. I think because though the conspiracy is an important part of the X-Files, sometimes it gets kind of lost. It
always amused me that the first episode came out and said these stories are reenactments of actual unexplained phenomena. The thing about the X-Files that amused me is I don't know how it was filmed, because the third one, Tombs, was such a highlight to me. It was like, wow, this guy survives because he eats livers, which is a regenerative organ in your body. And it was about episode 11 he came back, and I thought, was that by design, or was that due to viewing figures and they were still filming that they actually decided to bring him back, or they knew that was such a strong story that they had every intention?
They wouldn't have known the viewing figures when they commissioned.
You see, what I know about Star Trek: The Next Generation, when that was coming out, was that they were still editing the last part of the season while they were broadcasting the first.
Yeah,
which means that they'd only just finished the principal photography, and that the effects and everything was still being edited in. So it's not unknown that a production would be broadcast without it actually finishing its season of episodes to record and edit.
Yeah.
But 11 episodes in would be so close. They had to have done that by design. I can't think of it not being done by design.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's see. Tony says, the Blu-ray of Lawrence is quite cheap now.
Yeah, it is.
Right, brilliant. It's I'm just blown away by it. Sai says, I had a blast on Sunday at the cinema. I went to see the original, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Wow, just wow. Robert Shaw on the big screen is daunting as hell. Great film.
It is an amazing film because
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, I'm going to like it because it's got Walter
Yeah.
Matthau in, and then the similarity really to the China Syndrome is there because Jack Lemmon's in that, and he's the one that sort of like recognizes the tremor in the nuclear factory. Walter Matthau is the lead in regards to controlling all of the trains. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like these two are the standout people, you know, because you know, although Denzel Washington did a pretty good job, and the new one is an all right film. The very nature of the fact that it's got Callum in it, you know, in the original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. You know who I'm talking about, don't you? He was in Callum, the TV series.
Oh yeah, Edward
Woodward.
Woodward. He would.
And
Yeah.
like I say, I've always had a good story about that because he used to hitchhike a lot. Did you know that, Edward Woodward? And he lived in Oxfordshire.
That's it.
And my dad
Yes.
picked him up
Yeah.
when he was hitchhiking to get back home.
Yeah.
So I went, "Oh, Dad, why wasn't I in the car when that was happening?" Because I used to like Callum.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to like that swinging light bulb that was
Yeah.
they were showing it. And the film of Callum, by the way, is so different to the TV series.
Yeah.
It's the one where
I've not seen the film, I don't think.
oh yeah. I think yeah, that's I recommend anybody watching that. That was actually quite good.
Yeah.
But anyway, Taking the Pelham 1, 2, 3, fantastic film. I'm so glad Cy goes and sees these films.
Yeah.
Bring out these things. Robert Shaw, yeah. I mean, standout performance, Robert Shaw. But I have to mention Walter Matthau, don't I? I mentioned Jack Lemmon in The Apartment. You put those two together, what you got? You got fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic screen gold when you've got those.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's have a look. Cy says, if you're ever in Newcastle upon Tyne, try and get to the Tyneside Cinema or Star and Shadow Cinema. They always have classics on daily. I mean, that is amazing that daily having classics on.
You know, we you know,
amazing.
when things settle down, you know, if there ever is a chance that I can get out, you know, I ought to pick you up from Leeds and take you over to Newcastle, and we ought to go and see this bloody cinema of his.
That would be great.
Tell you what, the bastard keeps bringing up how good his bloody cinemas are up there, and I just want to punch him in the bleeding face on just how good his bloody cinema is.
It would be great seeing these things.
You know,
it's a long way, isn't it? It's a long way
to Tipperary. Yeah, it's a long way to go. Yeah.
But yeah, and it's good that you support it. I think, you know, keeping it going.
Yeah,
you know, the more people visit.
I wish I had the opportunity to keep our old cinema, but it closed down.
Yeah, yeah, it's a sad thing, isn't it? Yeah. That's what I was reading about. Again, I know it's got a bit boring, but I was still reading about the Paramount Warner Brothers partnership. It still hasn't been officially approved, has it?
Well, it's this Friday.
Yeah, and that I thought it was good the way they were saying that they were guaranteeing that they had to have cinema screenings, because with Netflix involved, you didn't feel that was as, even though what they said, oh yeah, of course, but could you imagine them sticking to that? I think they would have.
To me, Netflix would have probably held on to that for about 2 years, 3 years. Physical media would be dead after 5 for them.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers said that nothing would happen for a year because they've already got a year's worth of their stuff already in the bank in regards to pressings and stuff like that, and their catalog of stuff that was coming out. I'd have given it 2 years after that. You wouldn't see anything coming out.
No.
We know that the joining of big companies, even if they are famous film studios, don't work. I mean, look at Disney and 20th Century Fox.
Oh, what they've done to that.
So, you know, there's no physical media. I mean, just look at the stuff I'd want out of 20th Century Fox released on bloody 4K, and there's nothing.
Yeah, and a Planet of the
Nothing.
Apes been one of these things. Yeah.
You know?
So they may change. There's still, it isn't totally the end, is it?
No, it's not. I
You
never.
know,
I'm one of these people now that look at things and say, do you know what? I keep turning around and saying this is the end of stuff, right? And to be quite honest, nothing's the end. Everything
no.
keeps evolving. Everything keeps changing.
Yeah.
There we were talking about Netflix the other day and
Yeah.
saying, oh, it's going to be like this. Then all of a sudden, everything's arse about face again, and Paramount are in there.
Yeah.
You're going, wow, now I feel much more
Yeah.
optimistic with the word Paramount being mentioned
Yeah.
than I ever was
Yeah.
with Netflix.
Well,
You
it's
know,
like
if I'd have been putting my hand in my head like this if they said Apple, I'd be going, oh,
yeah.
for
Oh
fuck's
no.
sake,
Also,
no.
the great
No.
news that the bloke who's in charge of Star Trek is going, isn't he? He's going, and that woman as well. They're all. Oh, well, I think she might have gone. So you know, what they've done to Star Trek has been so awful. It's unforgivable, but there is hope. There is hope
Yeah.
that things could change, and that's what you've got to be positive about. You know, things can change. You know, because this Starfleet Academy's been getting
Remember last
so
week
bad
we were
ratings.
talking about Gone with the Wind.
Yeah,
And yeah, I saw that Gone with the Wind has now got the artwork all done, and the 4K release has got a date on it being released.
brilliant.
And I'm going, bloody hell!
Yeah,
How,
and it's not
I
going to be
think what they
tampered
talked
with.
about. I think what they talked about though is that they're showing it in its original ratio, which is like TV ratio 4:3.
Yeah,
And somebody was going on YouTube going, what, they're not going to show a more widescreen version of it? And I was going, well, no, that was the original ratio that it was presented at
yeah, that's
cinema.
what I
You're
was
talking
saying. Yeah,
about the 30s and 40s. So
yeah.
you know, you don't want to reformat that.
Yeah.
I think it's actually 173 to 1 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good that that's still going on. Ah, right. Let's have a look. Tony says there's a good Roberto Rossellini film about Garibaldi. Oh yeah, I want to talk about Garibaldi and Italian unification. Viva Italia!
They've made a film about biscuits.
Yeah, I knew you was gonna. I thought I'd get in and get the.
Look, you know me too well. Go on. I have to put the dad jokes in, don't I?
And I have to do this, even though we haven't got that many people watching. But that's how it is nowadays. If there is anybody new watching and you haven't subscribed to Delboy's channel, then please subscribe to him. It's got a great channel. I've put a link in the description. Just click that and you can go over. He's been doing some great stuff. He's obviously got the solid, brilliant blog that he does every week, which I love. And he's just a real snapshot of his life, the ups and downs, and it's just brilliant. And then he has other content. He has been able to do some more recently these film stuff, and I know he does game stuff. So if you're not joined, why not get over there? Click the when this is finished, of course. Don't leave now. We definitely yeah. Afterwards, I'm going to go in the description and join his channel if you've not. So there you are.
You know what? The most enjoyable thing about my blog is mentioning about you guys actually on a Wednesday.
Yes,
What a nice crowd we have. You know, there's Sai.
True.
You know, even that bastard Tony Yorks. I even about. You wouldn't believe such nice things come out of my mouth when I'm talking about Tony Yorks. In fact, nice and Tony Yorks don't go together, do they? In my mouth, really. But there you go. But, thank you very much. I swear I daren't put my channel through AI and see what it says. It'll probably turn around and say, "Don't watch that bastard channel." Jesus Christ, all you hear is swearing.
You ought to call it the bastard channel.
The bastard channel.
Delboy's the bastard channel. Yeah. I don't think YouTube would like that, would they?
They probably wouldn't. But no, I mean, I mean, I'm fortunate. I'm in my 5th year, which means I've done 4 years of blogs.
That's right. Yeah.
But
And
I've said it. I've said it all the time. As although I'm known for my blogs, I have to say this. I've actually done 530, 31 videos.
Yeah.
I've actually only done 200 and something blogs, which means I've done more of other stuff than I have blogs.
Yeah. And I just say to people, then look in the playlist. You've got playlists up. Then look in those, and you'll find all the things that he does. And
I'm glad I started to do the film stuff. I felt more comfortable doing film first. I did do a gaming stream last week. I did do it. I promised I'd do one, and I did a gaming stream. And Si was there. He'll tell you, I was there. Of course, all the bloody people were putting games up there where I had to waggle a joystick or something, and all they could see was bloody sweat coming off of me. I was going, "You bastards choosing this game, you little shit. What the fuck are you telling me to play this fucking game again for? I was bloody 14 when I was playing this, you bastards. I'm 50 bloody something now." I was doing all of this.
Yeah.
And I swear it must have been funny.
Yeah.
It must have been funny to watch. But it was fun. It was nice doing a live stream.
So you can now. Are you a veteran gamer now? You can be a veteran, can't you?
I don't know. All I know is my arm hurt. My arm hurt for about 2 days afterwards.
You better get the deep heat on. Get the deep heat on that arm.
But I think people had a good time. It was one of those things. It was late at night. It was late at night. It was impromptu. I said a big thank you to my friend Jambon for buying me a game. That was the main point. And then I just opened it up and said, look, anybody that just wants me to play a game, it could be on a Commodore 64, it could be an arcade game, just mention it. Of course, all the bastards came out and gave me every frigging hard game and bloody thing they can possibly do, just for a laugh.
Good.
No, I mean, just for a laugh. So...
Right, and let's get on then. We've got Earside saying, I went to see Scream 7 on Monday. Possibly the worst killers reveal in the whole series. Had some fun kills and good for the first 2/3, but completely failed to land the ending.
You know what?
I think that sums up what I've heard people say.
I have not heard many good things about that film.
Yeah. I'd still like to see it, though. I'd still like to see it.
Well, you've got to, haven't you? Because how many of us have seen all the others, and that means, I've got to see the 7th.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen everyone. You've got to see it, but in a way, it kind of tells you that they shouldn't make any more. But I think they will.
I think I did watch a YouTube thing. I'm sorry I keep mentioning that, but I did watch a YouTube thing. I think there was a troubled production on this. The directors kept leaving. They were bringing back 4 of the original actors. 2 of them then left. Then they left just the other 2, and and then all sorts of stuff was going on with this production. And I just thought to myself, this does not bode well for this film.
Because wasn't she? I've forgotten her name. The major one who plays Sydney. She was demanding more money. They've had to give her more money, haven't they?
Yeah.
For a parent film. That doesn't bode well, does it?
They brought back Courtney Cox. Then they brought back. But
I like the series originally. I think it was a really good series, but if it's done well at the box office, I bet you they'll be tempted. I don't know how it's done at the box office.
When you look at the early days of Scream, and you think, well, what was it about the film that people liked? I'm pretty sure it was. It's like everything, even a gamer recognized something called Easter eggs.
Yeah,
right? Easter eggs are hidden little things. Yeah. Right? It actually turns around and says, haven't you watched horror films? Don't you know?
It was very knowing, but in a good way.
So
in a knowing way.
It tugged at that thing where this director and this writer, they recognize what I've been watching and what makes me like
Yes.
horror films so much. And I'm in on the joke. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's probably what draws you in. Trouble is, can you hold that up for 7
Yeah.
films? Can you hold that for 7 films? And I don't think you can.
And of course, Wes Craven died.
Oh
He's
yeah.
dead now, and maybe he could have had more input. Like, you know, now, or he might have said he didn't want anything to do with it. He might have said, I don't know what his take would be, but it just all these companies are looking at the figures out there, and if it does well, they may well want it back. But would the actors come back again if they think it's?
Well, after this production, you
Yeah.
have to ask yourself,
Would they
what?
come back again? I don't know.
Well, because at the end of the day, you could you either think of yourself as being typecast, or
Yes.
am I going to be recognised as being in crap films all the time?
Yes. Yeah.
So I mean, is Courtney Cox really going to go? Yeah, I'm going to come back to the next one. Right? I haven't seen Scream 7, so I don't know if there's
I
a
get you.
possibility
Yeah.
that she could even be in the next one because I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
I will watch it.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you go, look, certain actors are just going to turn around and go, I am not going to be recognized as just being in shit films.
Yeah. Yeah. Films that started off well and have just gone downhill. That's the problem.
Well, if I remember rightly, Scream 6, I came away going, it started to go downhill, but it's all right at the moment. I think that's what I thought about Scream
now it
6.
might have.
If I remember rightly, I didn't like Scream 2, but I might be thinking of Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I don't know. I get confused. Saw was good for the first couple of films. I like the first one. I know that.
Yeah, Saw did get a bit, though. As I still say that the Saw 10 is actually a return to form, but it's between 1 and 2, so it's set earlier on anyhow. But it's quite good. But they're not going to make any more Saw. They were talking about it, but he's too old. He's too old, isn't he? Toby, whatever his name is. But yeah, but you can bet in a few years they might think, oh, we can reboot Saw again. That wouldn't surprise me. Them rebooting it, getting
if the signature is put on the Paramount deal for Warner, which means that you just imagine how much of an IP Paramount will have.
Yeah,
my God, they'll have everything Warner's done. They've got their own IPs.
Yeah, massive.
And my God, that will be a massive amount of intellectual property. By the way, IP.
Yeah.
You can imagine the series of stuff that they could now.
They'll be rubbing their hands at that.
Or they could now combine films, horror films that were at Warner and horror films that are under Paramount. It's like what somebody said. They said you could have a paranormal Scream or something, right? It's not unheard of. You could combine the two types of films and put them together without any licensing problems at all. Which opens up a whole wedge of things. But
it's interesting because then it makes you think, what about with streaming? Some of the smaller streamings going to go because they won't be able, people are going to say, well, it costs too much money. If you pick the Paramount one now and you think, right, I'm happy with that, you're not going to pick other ones, are you? You're not it costs too much. Disney, I ain't going to go,
it was only something like August or September last year that YouTube videos were coming out saying that piracy is back, right? And I wondered, what does that mean? Piracy is back. And they said Netflix and all of these big, including Disney, were all going back on their deals. They were saying things like they promised us that they wouldn't put a tiering system where if you wanted high definition, you had to pay this, that, and the other. And they took away things like friends and family, and they made it so that each person now has to have their own account. all of
Yes.
this sort of stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They were all U-turns, and so many people have lost faith in that system that they've
Yeah.
done all these U-turns that they're now reverting to piracy, and that can only be a good thing for physical media, because you've got to have a physical media thing to do a
You are.
piracy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh
Because
yeah.
you'd have to have an account to actually rip
Yeah.
the streaming, if you see what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's interesting, isn't it, that I think
See how it's
physical
going to
media
pan
could
out. All this. Yeah.
again could see a resurgence, because people just they're knocking the streaming services
Yeah.
because they're not prepared to pay £10 every month or £20 every month anymore, because
Because
they can't
I heard
afford
them.
it. Can't
Yeah.
afford it.
Well, HBO are a recommended brand, and
Yeah.
people didn't like the idea that they're going to merge them with Paramount and all that stuff. So
Well,
there's lots of issues.
HBO have released a second channel to their streaming. It's HBO and HBO Raw or something.
Oh,
I can't remember what it's
crikey!
called.
So it gets even more complicated. Really, it's not a simple.
They had an injection of capital because of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody tuned into HBO.
They've got a
We tuned
brand,
into
yeah.
we tuned into Sky for Game of Thrones. But in the
Yeah.
States, that big landmass where it came from, my God, the amount of revenue HBO it would have knocked everything off Netflix.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, because that's the only way you'd have got to watch it. So,
Yeah, it's a big
weird.
name. Yeah. Right. And then Tony said, we had a local petrol station with a small selection of VHS. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. When you just had this small selection, it was in our local shop. It's just on like one of those racks that turn around or something like
You
that.
know what?
I
I had a vision of Tony Yorks then, right? Drive into the petrol station, going up to the cashier and saying, "Got any porn?"
What can I say? Yeah.
Just imagine him with a big trench coat going up to the cashier and going, "Got any porn?"
Trench
Go and have a look on the spinner rack. See if you've got Debbie Does Dallas or something. He knows I'm only joking.
And then Si says, I miss the old local video stores. The off-license, with the video nasties behind the counter to the grocery store, with a selection of the blockbusters of the time. Yeah, it is. It's that era before Blockbuster. It's a nice era. I must admit, I never really went into Blockbusters. It's not my time. And then
I went into Blockbusters at the end, buying lots and lots of
yeah.
When they announced that they were going bust, I
like the idea of them selling stuff. That was good.
Well, I'll tell you what. That was the shame about Blockbusters, but it also was probably their downfall a little bit as well. They did so much because they were selling popcorn. They were renting video games, and then they were selling those. And then they were renting videos, and then they were selling those off, and then they had sweets and pick and mix. And I'm going, this isn't a cinema. What have you got? I mean, all I want now is a big gulp drink machine, and I've got the foyer of the. And I tell you what, are you selling Wessler's hot dogs next? I mean, is there going to be a person coming out selling me sort of like ice lollies and all this sort of stuff? Is she gonna come out the back with a tray in front of her going ice creams? Because that's what Blockbuster suddenly was starting to feel like. It was like, you dive. Who in their right mind? I mean, I never did this, but I never bought popcorn from Blockbusters.
No, I understand totally. Yeah,
I went to a sweet store and bought a big bag of butter or whatever it was from there. After I'd been and rented the film out, right? Or I made popcorn at home on a stove. Right? Yeah. I never bought their popcorn that was freshly popped in a bloody big machine that you scooped out yourself and took it. Because I tell you what, I'd be spilling the bloody popcorn going to the car. You know,
Yeah.
and then when I've got to drive home, the popcorn would have fell on the side and it would have gone all over the floor in the car and all. I'm like, nah, bollocks to this.
Yeah.
I ain't watching the film here. I'm taking it home to watch. You know.
Yeah.
The thing about the cinema is that you bought the popcorn because you're going to eat it while watching the production right in front of you. I've got to drive home with this bloody open boxed popcorn that's going to go flying everywhere in the bleeding car. Right? I never got it. I never understood it. Didn't understand it.
No, this is true as well. So it's amazing to think how much VHS cost to buy in the 80s.
Yeah.
Must be in the hundreds in today's money. Yeah. Yeah. That's why it was a great thing when, you know, you saw sell-through come through. I remember going to W.H. Smith's and they'd have a whole area with the records of VHF tapes that you could actually buy. It was absolutely fantastic. But do you remember there was like sort of, even in that, a disparity? They had like these cheap labels. These like, I think they were called, I remember because I bought the Fog and it was on something like Channel 5, they called it.
Or it could have been Cinema Club. It could have been.
And they were cheap, weren't they? They were cheap.
And Channel 5 had nothing to do with the fifth channel on
No, it was just the name of a cheap label. It was just Channel 5. But I remember as soon as I saw that, I thought, oh, it's the Fog. I've got to have that. Got to have it. And it was
they turned into Network 2, you know. Do you remember that? Do you remember every BBC production that started off and it would be that not the BBC banner, but it came up with that network sort of like banner. That was what Channel 5 turned into.
Yes, yeah. I
just because it was that guy on YouTube called Adam Martin that explained about how Channel 5 was Cinema Club and then Cinema Club turned into just a name.
Yeah.
And it was such a shame because it brought back so much cheap stuff to mums, really, because Channel 5 were very good for their children's TV that single mothers would put their kids in front of while they were doing the washing up and all that sort of stuff. They'd put the Night Garden on or whatever it was, you know, Chigley, whatever, you know. So they loved Channel 5.
And also, do you remember they didn't have certificates on right at the beginning because it didn't come in, did it, until the Video Nasties? When they got the certificates, you had to have a certificate. With them, they didn't have a certificate on. You could just buy them. Yeah,
that's right.
But a really good. I mean, I remember when they publicized Indiana Jones when it first came out, the first Indiana Jones film, and that was about 20 quid. They said, "Oh, 20 quid, you know, you can actually own Indiana Jones film." And I thought, "Oh, that's fantastic."
I'll tell you when VHS really took off for me was the advertisement for the widescreen collection from 20th century.
Oh yeah, I remember getting them. Yeah,
the advert
came out. I remember winning in a competition. I think it was in some film magazine. I actually won a competition, and I won 5 copies of 5 films in widescreen. Absolutely fantastic. Well, things like Thelma and Louise.
I just remember the advert saying, "Do you remember when you watched films?" And it was the Star Trek Destroyer that was going. Then suddenly it went wide like this.
Yeah,
TIE fighters were coming flying at you and all this.
I had to get them in widescreen.
The early releases, I even remember it. It was Die Hard, Star Wars, the fourth story. You know, the very first Star Wars. Let's see, there was a Bond film.
Yeah.
There was 5 films. That's 3 of them. That's 3 of them straight away. They were $14.99. I know they were that expensive. They all conformed to a white case. It was white spined.
Yeah.
Like this. I went out and bought a Philips 32-inch widescreen. purposely to have these films.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I actually went out and bought a Philips widescreen.
Yeah.
Right.
And there were still people saying, "Oh, what are those black bars across the TV?"
Oh yeah.
And there were still people who couldn't work it out. I said, "Look, when you go to a cinema, this is what you see in a widescreen. You know, that's
I
it."
learned so much about ratios like 16:9:4:3, all of that sort of stuff, all based on that initial batch of stuff. But going back to Tony York's question, the first time I heard how much VHS costs was Back to the Future.
Yeah.
It was Lawrence at the video store. He turned around and said, "You do understand that I had to buy this," and it was 85 quid. And I bought 15 copies for people to rent, right? And if you damage that tape, I'm going to be coming for 85 quid from you because, I have to buy them.
Yeah.
I have to buy them from the reseller. And he showed me, because there was one distributor that he bought them from. So you didn't buy them from 20th Century Fox. You didn't buy them from Paramount. You didn't, I think it was Diamond.
Yeah.
Something like that. Diamond Select or something like that. And he had to then put in an order, and he would be handing out thousands of pounds because he'd say, "Look, 15 copies at 100 and something quid. You do the math."
Yeah.
It's going to take me an age to rent these out at £3.99 a night.
Yeah.
For me to get back $2.5 grand of my money that I've had to fork out this week to get those copies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Blockbusters had such a bigger deal because they were a franchise.
Yeah.
So basically, they bought things in bulk, so they could probably get them for
you
about
can
20,
understand.
quid.
Yeah, you can understand why the independent ones disappeared. Really, you've just really summed it up. Really, they couldn't afford.
Thanks so much, guys, for bringing all this memory back for me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I probably wouldn't have thought about all this in my blog.
Yeah.
It's only here that I've thought about all of this. But go on.
Yeah.
Tony Yorks, he's had too much advertising. Get that bloody name off the screen.
He's right though. Yeah. And then, here he is again. But he was right. You saw this Ralph Bates. It's Ralph Bates. Yeah. Great actor. Ralph Bates was. Rocket Bunny. Mad Max was the first video I remember seeing rented at my neighbor's house. Oh yeah, as we were too poor for a video recorder. What was the first film you remember renting, guys? I remember it straight away. The first film that I saw was with some mates around our house, and it was Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry. I remember watching.
I'll tell you what my one was. It was Burt Reynolds' Mean Machine.
Oh, right. Yeah. It was exciting, wasn't it? And do you know, I've always been a collector in my life, collecting everything really. And soon as I saw them, I thought, wow, this is a way for me to actually own my own films. That was my immediate thought. I've got to start collecting.
The second film was Airplane, and the third film was Jaws.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Mine, I think I remember Dirty Harry, Magnum Force. Which, as I said,
the first two pirated films, because my dad worked in a factory, piracy was rife. Was E.T. and Rocky 3.
The pirate things. I remember getting some the Jungle Book, and it was bloody awful. Oh, you could hardly watch it. It was a copy. It was like watching those Doctor Who missing episodes where you had a white virtual screen.
Isn't it funny when we think about it, because they cornered the phrase macro protection. They called it macro protection.
Yeah.
It was a magnetic pulse that was done at the top and bottom, and what it did.
Yeah.
After playing it, when you put your connection through to another recording device and you bypass the TV tuner, the screen would roll, go black and white, or start to pulse. That's what it did, right? And it's because it wasn't going through the tuner.
So
I remember somebody taking away a broken TV, taking the tuner out, and then going through the tuner of the TV and then out into a video recorder to bypass it. And then there was another of my friends that basically brought out a device with a sort of like a dial. And when it started to pulse, it'd turn the dial around and the frequency would change and the screen would steady. But he had to keep doing that every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
The screen to warp. Because it did that. It did this warp. Do you remember? It used to pulse and then flicker and then roll. The screen would roll. Whenever you tried to record something.
Yeah. And then Side says, yeah, I remember my mum bought me a copy of E.T. when it was released. It apparently cost her 40 quid. That was in 1984. So God knows how much that would be in today's money. Yeah, I know. Well, that's how it was. But
probably cost you nothing. Probably cost you nothing, you pirating bastard. I bet you had the pirate copy that I had.
I think E.T. was one of the most anticipated popular pirate films. Actually,
I'll never forget my mum's shock at E.T. She turned round and when we were watching it and said, "What the hell's that? That looks like a King Edward spud on the top of a Hoover Flex." That's what she said. And I told her it cost £1 million for that.
I bet you had
£1 million. Bloody hell, all you need is a Hoover and a spud. The hell, what's this £1 million thing?
Oh dear.
They must have had a right laugh when they turned around and that thing cost £1 million.
Yeah. Rocket Bunny says, I think E.T. was one of the most pirated films I remember borrowing from someone at school. Yeah. Si says, it was pirated to an inch of its life. That's why my mum bought it, an original. Yeah.
She looked after you, Si. That's all I can say on that. You must have been one of the most wanted people to bring that round to your friend's house, so you didn't have that bloody crappy copy that was going around everywhere.
Yeah. Si says £131, according to Bank of England inflation calculator, makes money 4K special collector's editions seem cheap. Actually, that's an interesting point.
Unless you're buying it from that label in Australia, and then everything
imprint. Yeah.
You want to? Yeah, I'll have 5 copies of June. Thanks very much. at 100 something odd quid. Yeah, I'll have 5.
Right, and we've got Si saying, wow, I know. And then, we've got Josh here. So just Josh in. Hello, guys. Hello, Josh. Welcome. Thank you so much for
He's
joining.
Probably gone now, but I always turn around and say, I did like his name Through the Lens better than just Josh. But he's still great.
Si says, I would say I got my money's worth. I watched it probably every fortnight for about 5 years. Well, that is getting your money's worth.
And the tape would have been, because it was the X rental, it would have been the expensive tapes that they put on the better. They said it was better quality tape. I don't believe a word of it, but it had a coating on it, I think, that lasted longer.
And then just Justin says, "Oh, we are both well. Yeah, we're fine.
All the better for seeing you. All the better for seeing you, Josh. And I hope that you're doing well and enjoying yourself."
Yeah. And then we've got Rocket Bunny saying, the only problem I have with the 60s Dalek films is the decision to use fire extinguishers instead of the negative ray effect. It diminishes the fear factor of the Dalek somewhat. I suppose I get you there.
Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah. I'm only a Dalek at weekends, but during the week I'm here. So he's Dalek. They're firefighters during the week. They go out and they put out fires, and then at the weekend they're Daleks.
Oh dear! And then Tony says, "Yeah, talking of kids cinema, just got another DVD volume of the BFI Children's Film Foundation collection. Yeah. They released 9 films over 3 discs, running for around an hour each. They're fun and easy watches. Yeah. Brilliant.
I do know of those.
Yeah.
I keep meaning to buy some.
Yeah.
Jim Jam, I think, introduced me to those. Yeah, that bastard.
Yeah.
Is he in?
He's been in, hasn't he?
Oh, has he?
Yeah, he's gone
Oh,
now.
all right. I must have missed it
Yeah.
because I was probably looking after my mum.
Because he was talking about the network possible revival.
Yeah.
And then Rocket Bunny says, agree with you, Ian, with regard Dalek scene with Eccleston trapped in the room with a Dalek. As a viewer, this was our first view of a Dalek after all those years. Wow, what a comeback. Peak, ooh, in my view. Yeah, definitely.
It was the third episode, and I thought it was very clever that we didn't know quite why the Doctor was like he was, and then we sort of realised by the third episode that the Daleks were what killed all the Time Lords. So it's sort of like it set the foundation stone for the whole of the resolution to that story being pretty much Matt Smith, wasn't it? Well, it was. Yeah, it was Tennant and Matt Smith.
And then Rocket Bunny says, Waters of Mars is my favourite Tennant Who stories. Love the darker tone in it, and the ending is perfect. The dedication to Barry Letts at the end had me in tears.
That was a rise to form, because if I remember rightly, Tennant had decided I'm going to leave. He said he was going to do some specials.
That's it. Yeah.
The first special was sort of like really weird because it was like a double-decker bus on a that went through a tunnel and landed up on a planet.
Yeah. I remember that one at Easter. It was at Easter, that one, yeah.
And all I remember was it starred the lady that was in EastEnders or something.
Yeah.
Right. It was bigged up. And then the second story, which was my favorite as well, because it was a really dark tone. It was, the Water of Mars.
Yeah.
It was something about it. I think it's probably because you got scared of water, really.
Yeah.
And that's very scary for mums and dads, because it's like, go upstairs and wash your face. You've got to be bloody kidding. I ain't going to wash my face after watching that. Waters of Mars. What the bloody, you think I'm silly or was it? All the creatures are going to kill me or something. Right? Yeah, you can imagine what mums and dads, they were swearing at the screens going, back to BBC doing that.
I like
all my kids don't want to go out now because they're scared that bloody statues are going to come to life, and water now and bloody plastic, and there's no safe place.
I loved when they called it. It was named after Bowie. They call it the Bowie Station as well.
That
was great.
Yeah, nice, that's right.
There. And then Si said, I had a Cannonball Run double bill this afternoon. Nana used to really enjoy them, so I watched them because today would have been 180.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's lovely remembering her. Fantastic.
Sorry, I'm going to have a heart attack with you tugging at my heart like that. Jesus.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah.
What are you trying to do to me?
Yeah. And then Si says, Del, have you seen that Talk Radio and Alligator have been announced to be getting Steelbooks releases? Will you be getting any of them?
I heard that Talk Radio, didn't know about Alligator. Talk Radio, yes, I'll be getting the Steelbook.
Right.
That's a quick answer for you on that, isn't it?
That's all right, yeah.
I'm here for long answers.
Rocket Bunny says, watch China Syndrome again a few months back. Jane Fonda is really good. It's also Lemon is just good in everything, to be honest. Cracking film. Yeah, I remember that well.
And I did a film review of China Syndrome.
Yeah, you have.
One of my favorites, I told you.
It is. It's great film.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Put in his money into that film.
Yeah.
Making that, if I remember rightly. Didn't do terrifically well, but I thought it was a fantastic production.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I think it was based 5 Mile Island actually happened very close to that film being released.
Yeah.
If I remember rightly.
And then, sorry, Simon says Jack Lemmon always brought a sense of realism to his roles. That's what made him so relatable in the world, in my opinion. Yeah,
I hoped I put it across just what a versatile actor he was. I remember saying in my video of the apartment that you just have to look at the trailer and you see him bobbing his head up and down while he was looking at the typewriter going along because he was reading. It's subtle things that other actors would just, if they were acting, they'd just have their heads still while the typewriter was moving. But he always tried to bring movement into a static scene or something like that.
Yeah.
Jack Lemmon, I mean, okay, I go over the top possibly a little bit about him, but I just
really.
think, what an actor.
If you're passionate about somebody, why not? You know, I think that's fair enough.
I was so upset when he died.
Yeah, yeah. And then
have you seen the film Missing?
Yeah, it's a brilliant film. It's one of his later films, isn't it? Is it his last film?
Not his last film.
No, but I think it's a great film.
I mean, after Missing, he must have done The Odd Couple 2 and a few other things. He did a film. He even did. I think his last Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon film was Out to Sea, which had Brent Spiner in. Brent Spiner in as the compare.
Yeah.
On an ocean liner.
Yeah. And then Tony says, Ian, you're giving Del's channel the hard sell. Yeah, I always try.
Tony York, so you can sod off. He's trying to out me, you bastard.
And Si says, a question I was going to ask last week. What are your thoughts on David Borsnes being cast as Jim Rockford in the Rockford Files remake? I'm not happy with it.
There's a couple of things that I'm not happy with that. What, another TV series being made into a film?
Yeah.
Like it's going to be like The Fall Guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded that being brought back as a revamped TV show. I'd have probably been as equally scathing for that, to be quite honest. The thing about Jim Rockford was, I think it came out at an age where I was impressionable, because I watched that, and I'll tell you the other show that I watched in the same breath was a TV series called Petrocelli. A lot of people probably don't recognize Petrocelli, but it starred Barry Newman.
Yes, I remember.
And he was a lawyer.
Yeah.
That had just moved out of the big city into this Arizona desert type thing with his wife, and he was solving crimes a bit like Quincy, right? And I'll never forget my mum, because she used to go to bingo on a Friday. She'd come back in, and it would be on after the news at 9:25. You see, right? She'd walk in, and the first thing she'd say was, "Has he not built that house yet?" Because this thing lasted for about, I think it only lasted one season, about 23 or so episodes. But every time my mum walked in, he'd never got more than 3 bricks high. And after all this time, he still ain't built. What the hell's he doing? Right? When's this? She said, I'd have been pensionable by the time he'd built that house. And it was always funny to me, because I'll never forget that TV series, because it's the TV series where the bloke was building a house and he never got more than 2 bricks high.
Yeah.
Just in Alvidazane Pet, they built a bloody housing estate in the time in about 9 episodes. And this guy had 23 episodes to himself, and he never got more than 3 bricks high.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Wouldn't it have been funny if the people from Alvidazane Pet went over to the Arizona desert and finished the house for him?
You could do a Geordie version of that. Would be interesting. Oh dear.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
They wouldn't understand them, would they, the Americans? They would
why, I imagine they'd be going, Petrocelli would be going, what, they'd be going, why, man? He'd be going, what?
Yeah.
Oh, what are you talking about?
And then Si says, I'm sorry for suggesting Daley Thompson's decathlon.
Yeah. Oh, it was you, was it, you bastard? I didn't know which bloke it was. I thought the game that he suggested was this ninja game, which was another weird one, where you had to stop these shurikens coming across the screen, and you knock your arm out or something. But anyway,
and Rocket Bunny. I can imagine very young Del wanting to be a punk band called Delboy with
and the Bastards.
Yeah, that's a good name, isn't it? Delboy and the Bastards. Yes, definitely. Tony says, to be honest, I've never heard of Borsnes, whoever it is. Is the bloke who played Angel, isn't he? Is that the one? Yeah.
Was it really? Oh, yeah. Right.
He'll have his work cut out to be half as good as James Arnold.
Well, he will.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that Mel Gibson got away with Maverick, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, they did that, didn't they? Yeah. Oh, God. Jodie Foster as well in that, wasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, well, James Garner was in it. He played his dad. Mel Gibson was Maverick. James Garner was his dad.
Oh, dear.
Wasn't it? They were playing a card game on a train, weren't they, or something like that? And she was equally going to be a card shark. You know, they were trying to. It was all scams, wasn't it? Really?
Right. Yeah.
If I remember rightly, I liked the film when it came out. I haven't seen it for years.
No,
I haven't watched that film in years.
No,
not many people talk about it either. Really, the film Maverick.
Yeah. And then, Sai says David Borsnes was in Buffy and he's also in Bones. Yeah, I've never seen Bones, but yeah, that was the series he did after Angel, didn't he? He went on to do that. I think it's quite big in America, Bones.
So DeForest Kelly wasn't in that then?
Yeah. No.
Don't you start, look. I have to do the dad joke.
Who's playing Senior Rockford, yeah. No one else had been announced yet, Tony. All right. And then Tony says Noah Beery was good in the original, appeared in a fair few westerns when younger. Oh, yeah, the western. Yeah. And then I've just Si says, I'm just worried that with the Rockford Trials getting remade and the rumor of Jamie Lee Curtis doing Murder, She Wrote, I'm waiting for the Columbia remake. No, that's not. Is that a rumor? I've never heard of that one about Jamie Lee Curtis.
I haven't heard that, but Jesus Christ, she has got grey hair. She could.
Well, she is. She is getting on a bit now. We forget, don't we? Yeah. Yeah.
I'd hate to see a Columbo remake. I think that should be left alone.
Yeah, there's only Angela Lansbury that we associate with that. That's it. God knows how many episodes they made, though.
I wonder when they're going to bring back Diagnosis Murder with him being 101 now or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, he's 100, isn't he? He's still going. Yeah,
we've got this great idea, mate. You're 100. We're all over the news. I think we ought to bring back Diagnosis Murder for another 23 episodes. What do you think? You'll probably be going, count me in. I'll get the Zimmer frame out.
It's a bit dangerous. And Tony says, must be no new ideas left if they're doing so many remakes. Can't get the jaunty thing to Murder, She Wrote out of my head now.
I tell you that earworm is what I call it. Happens all the time for me. Yeah. Murder, She Wrote. I'm like that with Crazy Like a Fox and Simon and Simon and Airwolf.
Yeah.
All of those tunes, they just go in my head. Automan is terrible.
Yeah.
I have that in mind. Don't talk about Manimal.
No, we won't talk about that.
That's gone for another year, right?
I think it's just the thing about these remakes. It's like they haven't got any other ideas, so they think, oh, we'll do a remake. That's all. It's laziness. I don't know what it is. Are they thinking name a brand like a product will sell something?
They keep choosing them for films as well. That's what gets me.
Yeah, they have this idea that it's gonna, I don't know.
I mean, all Murder She Wrote could hope to be is like an Agatha Christie film, a one-off Agatha Christie film.
Yeah, it is in a way. You would, if you're thinking about both. That's what they're kind of in a way. It's like a Miss Marple kind of thing, really.
Yeah. You can only hope that you will get a good film out of it, like a Miss Marple film.
I think Agatha Christie can still be done and has been done, hasn't it?
Well, it has because Kenneth Branagh's been behind it.
Yeah,
I mean that's great.
Yeah,
that he's doing the tried and trusted Death on the Nile and things like that, and the Murder on the Orient Express. I don't know whether he'll go further, but he's doing the Poirot ones, isn't
he? Yeah.
I don't know whether they'll do a thing like Agatha Christie's Murder is Easy, because Murder is Easy was a TV film with David. What's his name?
Oh.
The bloke who played played Bruce Banner in the the TV version of the Hulk.
Oh, what's his name?
Yeah,
my mind's gone.
My brain just goes. I mean, I love that show.
I can see him.
I can see him.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm out.
It's a great series. Great series. What was
but anyway, Bill Bixby. That's it. Bill Bixby.
Yeah. And then
Bill Bixby was in Murder is Easy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then Simon says, sorry for that, Tony. And then Tony Hawk says, P word. Yeah, that's what he's saying there. And then I'm happy I have the Rockford Files going around in my head at the moment. Well, that's good. Enjoy that. What's the better TV show? Helicopter, Airwolf, or Blue Thunder?
Airwolf. For me, Airwolf, but I've ordered the 4K Blue Thunder. Well, I will order the Blu-ray.
I like the 4K
film. Blue Thunder.
The film is great, Blue Thunder. I really like.
Oh yeah, Airwolf never got a film release other than putting 2 episodes together and making a TV film.
Yeah.
Blue Thunder had Roy Schneider in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. I enjoyed it. I've seen it a few times. Loved Blue Thunder.
For me,
Airwolf, I'll be honest. I've never really watched any Airwolf.
Oh, that helicopter.
Is that Ernest Borgnine in that one?
Ernest Borgnine, yeah.
Yeah.
But Blue Thunder to me looked like something that a double glazing salesman would love to have tried to sell. Do you know what I mean? Because it looked like something that Meccano knocked up. No. Airwolf looks sleek. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that analogy of a double glazing salesman. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I swear the thing was made by Everest. You know what
I mean? And then Tony says, I now have Rockford mixed up with Jessica Fletcher in my head. Oh dear, you're having problems now. And then Rocket Bunny says, Blue Thunder all the way. At least it was a military helicopter.
This is the thing. This is what makes it fun, because I like Blue Thunder, I like Airwolf. But if you were to ask me, look, you can only take one of them to a desert island, I'd be going Airwolf. I've got more episodes to watch. I've got a more exciting looking helicopter as far as I'm concerned. You know.
Well, there you are.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Blue Thunder may have been more military, realistically stuff. But honestly, I swear it looked like Meccano made it. It did.
Yeah, I never liked Meccano.
In fact, you wouldn't need to do too much for Lego to come out with a version that you could
Did
make.
you do Meccano, incidentally?
Eh?
Did you do Meccano when you were a kid?
We couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford
Yeah,
Lego.
my brother did it. I
We
just
had
never got on with it.
we had stickle bricks because we couldn't afford.
Yeah. But Meccano was always, I found it a bit boring, to be honest. Very
I'd have
limited.
liked to have had the opportunity for it to be boring because we
Yeah,
got things like
I just not for
Spirograph.
me. I'll stick with Lego.
My dad bought me Spirograph and things like that. To keep
Oh
me
God, I had that, and it was that. After a while, I got fed up of Spyro. After you'd done a few of these designs, in the end, that was it. I wasn't very good at it either, to be honest. And then he said Rock Bunny says the pilot for Blue Thunder is very good in my view.
It is. Don't get me wrong. You see, people will probably just turn around and say to you, I liked both. I actually watched the TV series of Blue Thunder on Rewind only last year. At the end, they showed all the episodes. It only lasted one season. Now there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason why there was one season of Blue Thunder and 4 seasons of Airwolf.
Yeah.
Right. You got to also understand that I loved. I'll tell you what, you guys out there, hum the theme to Blue Thunder and then hum the theme to Airwolf, and I bet you any money you'll remember the Airwolf theme before you remember how the Blue Thunder theme went.
Yeah.
Right. Half the time that I thought that these programs were good was because they had a catchy tune, and I was heavily into synths, so Airwolf was brilliant. I loved the Airwolf theme. Thought it was marvelous. Blue Thunder, I don't think I could even hum the tune now. And I only watched it last year. I loved Airwolf anyway. Jan Michael Vincent, Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah, Jamie's in York, seeing some comedy, and he says, "Howdy from the train in York."
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello, you git.
He'll be here next week. You can call him that then straight to him, please.
Well, I think, do you know what? I think that gives the game away. I thought we were going to keep it a secret.
Yeah, well,
all of a sudden, everybody knows.
Yeah, well, it's Jamie. People all know.
Yeah, it's Jamie and his magic torch. Yeah.
And then, right. Sai says, if Columbo was remade, who would you cast as Columbo? My vote would have to go to George Clooney. I just have to say, I just can't even imagine anybody, honestly, anybody doing Columbo.
I tell you what, I don't mind George Clooney doing it if they pull out of his eye and put in a glass one.
It's a bit talk about method acting.
Yeah. I need to know that George Clooney's gone through the pain barrier for this character. I mean, so yeah, pull out George Clooney's eye, put a glass one in. I'm happy for him to play the role. Yeah.
Yeah. There's only one Columbo. There can't be anybody else. I just think that. Yeah.
Because then are we going to have George Clooney remake The Princess Bride? Because he played, because Peter Falk played the dad who read out the story, didn't he, to the boy in the
bed. Sai says, "Hi, Muckman," and then Muckman says, "Hi, Sai," and then Tony says, "Blue Thunder especially enjoyed the film. Malcolm McDowell as yet another baddie." Yes,
yeah, he was. Yeah,
he always.
I will say this: the film was good. I liked the Blue Thunder film.
I like the film. I thought the film was great. Yeah, and then
Roy Schneider was pretty good at all those things.
Yeah,
when he was a policeman or some sort of airport.
And Rocket Bunny says, "Hey, Muckman, tickets, please." And then Tony says, "Evening, Jamie. Rocket train sat in station, supposed to have set off 10 minutes ago." Oh dear, you don't want to miss that show, lad. And then
Bloody hell! How far back how far back are we with this? I mean,
this is 10:15.
He's going to a concert. Is he going to a midnight concert?
Well, it must be pretty late, mustn't it? They put that comment at 10:15.
And he's still travelling on the train to get to the concert. That means that concert must be a midnight concert or something.
I presume then he's staying. He must be staying.
It must be tomorrow or something.
Yeah. Anyhow, there we are. And then he says, "Long journey to home." Rocket Bunny.
Oh, maybe he's returning home. He might be. Yeah, he's probably returning home. Right.
Nah, just back to Leeds. Oh. So, he's going back to Leeds. Yeah, so not so bad then. So it's not that far really.
No.
Probably quicker walking. Jamie Tony says, yeah. And then Jamie says, went to see comedian Frankie Munro. Bloody hilarious. I have no idea who Frankie Munro is. I have no idea.
I'm out of touch with these comedians that go on stage these days, I have to
say. And then Sai says, has anyone seen Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die? It's up there with film of the year. I know that it's just turned March, but it's so crazy. Sam Rockwell at his best. Yeah,
that's intrigued me. So a film called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
It sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. Looking forward to that. And Jamie says, went to see that, but timings were crap, and I was ill again last weekend, so couldn't be asked. All right. Okay, lad.
I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, I'm sure you're feeling better. You've had a few, haven't you? Colds. He's been getting quite a few.
I thought you were going to say he's had a few drinks.
It probably might have done for all I know. And then Sai says, I'm going to watch Harry Enfield on Tuesday night. He's doing a one-man show. I'm really looking forward to seeing him. You know, I used to love Harry Enfield's TV series. I thought this is some great stuff on TV. And you can watch him on YouTube. And I often sit and watch him on YouTube. So I'd be interested to know what he's like now. I don't know. Hopefully he's all right. You know, hopefully I enjoy it. And then we've got Rocket Bunny. Hang on, McMahon. So I look up Munro on YouTube, and the first thing I see is Mucky Little Pup gets a new voice. That's a bit mucky suspicious there. Eh? So you've looked up this comedian on YouTube, I presume. Oh,
yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, what else can I say? I don't have any good laugh there. And then anyway, thought I'd pop on and say hello. See you all on the live stream next week. Literally. Bye anyhow.
Yeah, I've put in a petition so that you can't be on it.
It's tough, yeah.
All this advertising, this free advertising that Jamie gets every bleeding week is amazing.
You'll be getting full Delboy treatment.
I swear, right at the top, you know, because we look like we're in widescreen, right? Right at the top, it should say, "Put your advertising banner here. Watch Jamie on McMahon Movies each week," right? Or where it says "Ask us everything," it should just say, "McMahon Movies can be seen on next week." Right? Yeah. Every week he gets free advertisement, little bastard.
Tickets are available.
Tickets available at the foyer. Get your popcorn at McMahon's Confectionery. Jesus,
get your
Christ,
sushi
man.
For your Japanese films and
oh
dear, I don't like sushi.
Honestly, yeah, it'd be doing a talk about a Japanese film, and I swear blind, it'd have a sushi restaurant around the corner that have McMahon sushi or something written on.
No, the thought of it. Oh dear. No, and then Sai says, "See you next week." And then Rocket Bunny says, "Safe rest of your journey, mate."
Yeah,
Then,
I will say that.
And then Tony says, "Night, Jamie." And then Rocket Bunny says, "Oh, Del, I managed to watch all the President's Men after seeing your mini review. Redford and Hoffman are a masterclass in normal, realistic acting. N felt a bit anticlimactic, though, as, of course, Nixon didn't really admit it until the Frost interview. Frost Nixon is one of my all-time favorite talkie films. Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't think you could really do much about the ending of All the President's Men, because it was what, 1976, 77 that came out. You'll have to remind me here, Ian. But back in the day, then it would have been just about the journalism and not so much what happened to Nixon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Frost Nixon is a much later film to produce, and therefore went much deeper. And
yeah,
I agree with that. But as a film, in a sort of like a moment in time, I thought it was brilliant. It's like watching Zodiac, you know, for me, because I can go back to the first time that I remember seeing it. I was bewildered. I couldn't understand what the hell was going on.
Yeah, yeah.
I was scared to watch films like that for years because it was like, this is too complex. My brain hurt. And then I saw JFK and understood it.
Yeah. Well, there's an example, you see, about, I think we have mentioned this, is that your view of films when you're younger is very different from what it is now that you're older.
Yeah.
You understand films more now you're older because you've got more life experience and you can see things in a better, different way. So that's why, to a lot of younger people, possibly some will think it's a bit boring. They'll think, "Oh God, this film's not going anywhere." But it is. It's a methodical kind of film, isn't it? It's showing the investigation, because it's not glamorous. Doing an investigation and research is not a glamorous job. It's a lot of hard, you could almost say boring work. You could. You could say it's actually like,
all they were doing all the way through the film is following her leads. That's all they were doing. They were on the phone more than they were out in the.
It could be considered.
They weren't like Quincy, were they? I mean, there he is. He does an autopsy at the beginning for 5 minutes. Then he was buggering around in a car everywhere trying to interview everybody.
Yeah, you can't do it. It doesn't work like that.
While Sam Fujiyama was doing all the blood work.
Yeah.
I mean, right.
Oh dear. And this we mentioned it. Bill Bixby, that was the Hulk thing.
Quincy was more in a pub than he was in the bloody place doing a job.
And listen to this now, traitor Delboy, Blue Thunder all the way, Roy Scheider also. There you are.
Can't I like both?
Yeah. And Sai says, Airwolf rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There you are. And then Sai says, Jan, Michael Vincent, and Ernest Borgin all day long. There you are. And then Rocket Bunny says, only the kiddies liked Airwolf. You didn't need music to cover up the kiddie sound of Airwolf.
So here's a thing, right? The main theme of Airwolf, right? The beginning of that record, right, of that tune, is actually supposed to be the sound of the blades going around on an actual helicopter. So that's supposed to be the sound of the helicopter blades. There you are.
There you are.
Up yours in regards to kiddie music, you bastard.
Yeah, that's it. You get it. And then Sai says, I'm a big kid at Art Rocket. There you are. And Jamie was coming home.
Yeah, because he was explaining that he was on his way home.
Yeah. And then Rocket Bunny, I'd love Malcolm McDowell to turn up in the Fallout series as President Eden, the AI president in Fallout 3. They already put a picture of him in the background of a scene in the second series.
I'm up to episode 4 of Fallout season 2.
Oh yeah, I saw this. I remember this. I just forgot about this in the news. It was sad to hear the news of Bruce Campbell announcing that he has cancer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw a little news item on that.
When was that announced?
Oh, I saw it a few days ago. I saw that.
Right.
It's been announced this week. He must have made an announcement, but I'm sure he's having treatment and it's been found.
Early. That's good.
So I think so.
Is it prostate? Is it prostate cancer?
It didn't say. But yeah, let's hope that he beats.
I mean, Billy Idol was all over the news today. I don't know what for. I thought he died.
Billy Idol.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. No, what I'm saying is I have no idea why. I thought it died, but apparently it hasn't.
No, I haven't seen anything on that. No. And then we've got the last comment. Okay.
And it's right at 11 o'clock. That's amazing.
Yeah, brilliant. And it is from Si. You can't beat a good old dialogue-filled film. As good as action is, I find the dialogue films more riveting. 12 Angry Men is the best at it. Yeah, I mean, what a film.
Oh, I will say this, by the way, right? I found some of my vinyl collection in the garage, right? And I was going through it. I can't believe I've only got 7 John Barry scores to my 007 James Bond.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Now I know I'm supposed to mention Jerry Goldsmith, and I think I got away with it this year.
You did manage it earlier.
In fact, I haven't mentioned him tonight. Oh yeah, I just haven't I? Sorry. So I
you mentioned him before you sneaked it in. I'm sure you did.
I don't think I did. So I've managed to get it in. But I tell you what,
I'm sure you sneaked it in when we was on about Lawrence of Arabia. But you say no, it wasn't a Jerry.
No, because that was about Maurice Jarre and Jean-Michel Jarre.
Wasn't it?
That was Jean-Michel Jarre and Michel Jarre.
Jean-Michel's, yeah. Well, I'm sure you sneaked something in about.
Anyway, I still think On His Majesty's Secret Service is a fantastic score.
Oh, it's one of my favorite. I think it is, and film wise, I put it up there as one of the best James Bond films, definitely. So we've got a final. Oh no, we've got a comment here. Tony saying good night all, and thank you, Tony, for joining us.
No, thank you.
This week, no problem. It's been great.
Thank you, Tony, you bastard. Right, yeah, right.
But it's been we're all back to normal now. And then Si saying, 99 guys, great stream as usual, Ian and Delboy. And as usual, a special shout out to Mrs. Dell. Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Always appreciate.
That's really nice of you.
We've got another comment here. Rocket Bunny, thanks for a nice, relaxed evening tonight, guys. Been a pretty awful week. Oh, sorry about that. Looking forward to our next week's chat with your special guest. I mean, Dell again. Honest, no, really. And thank you, I say. And he's saying,
I wish Rocket Bunny all the best, because he told me what was going on, and I read it out in his blog, and I just hope that his parents, his mum gets better soon.
Yeah. And thank you always for joining us, Rocket Bunny. It's really.
Oh, he's such a nice guy, I tell you, Rocket.
Yeah. You're a big part of this stream now as well.
I mean, he's a sod. Don't get me wrong. But he's a nice guy.
Yeah. Right then. So I'll wrap that up now. Thank you, everybody that's contributed, been watching us, and it's been really enjoyable. And we're back to normal. And so next week, hopefully we'll be carrying on with another good live stream, hopefully, as I say, with our special guest, you know who. So I'll say thank you, Delboy, and we'll do our normal farewells.
Oh, we always do the two Ronnies, don't we? We always go, and it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Good night. Because I used to love that. Those two newscasting jobs that they did, they were absolutely brilliant. But my one is always Frankie Howard, where he goes, salute. Because he always used to do that at the end of his Up Pompeii routines. So thanks very much for having me on as always, Ian. Absolutely marvelous. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Looking forward to next week as every week. So I'll do what I normally say. So all I've got to say is I'll see thee again. Bye. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Still going.